expression. Mayor Eric Adams says there are no credible threats at this time. He's also singling out a Republican congresswoman from Georgia.
Although we have no specific threats, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is known to spread misinformation and hate speech, she stated she's coming to town. While you're in town, be on your best behavior.
Trump is on his way from Florida, planning to spend tonight at his apartment in Trump Tower for tomorrow's arrest and arraignment on an indictment that remains sealed for now. The White House not confirming reports that a Chinese spy balloon was able to share information before it was shot down by the U.S.
China was able to control the balloon so it could make multiple passes over key sites, described as, at times, flying figure-eight formations and transmitting it back to Beijing in real time. Pentagon spokesman Brigadier General Pat Ryder said on February 10th, quote, "What I would tell you is based on the information that we have, it was being maneuvered and purposefully driven along its track. Again, recognizing that winds do play a role because of the maneuverability of the balloon, it is our assessment that this was a purposeful mission."
Fox's Mike Emanuel, but National Security Council spokesman John Kirby reiterating today action was taken to limit any effort to gain useful content. McDonald's offices in the U.S. reportedly closed for a few days as the company prepares to inform corporate workers about layoffs. The Wall Street Journal citing an internal email about restructuring. America is listening to Fox News.
Spring is here, and it's time to add some life to your wardrobe with Untuck It. Untuck It shirts are designed to be worn untucked, so you look your best even at your most casual. From iconic button-downs starting at just $55 to wrinkle-resistant linen shirts, printed polos, and brushed cotton tees, there's something for everyone. But Untuck It isn't just about shirts. They also offer a wide range of pants and shorts to complete your look. Visit untuckit.com or stop by one of 80-plus stores to find the perfect fit for your spring wardrobe.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus next-day energy with melatonin plus extended-release B vitamins.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Springtime in the air on this Monday afternoon. Partly sunny, windy, and warm. 72 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy, windy, and mild. 59 degrees. Tuesday, partly sunny, very warm, very windy. Maybe a pop storm, but a lot of dry time. 84 on Tuesday. An increase in rain and thunderstorms Tuesday night. Some could be strong. Wednesday, a couple of pop storms, partly sunny, and 68. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Foley Dental Group is there to make you feel comfortable, to provide you the best dental care in the bi-state region, and to make us so that you go, yeah, that wasn't bad. I can't wait to go back again. That feeling of clean teeth and good dental health, Foley Dental Group is going to give that to you. If you haven't been in a while, if you've got an ache in your mouth, don't postpone this any longer. Don't be worried about it. I've had the gas that they put on you to relax you when I've had cavities filled. They do what they can to make you feel comfortable. Foley Dental Group is seeing people of all ages. My kids go to Foley Dental Group. If you are looking for somebody new, taking new patients, check out FoleyDentalGroup.com. Call them at 618-288-9670. That's 618-288-9670. Mention the Annie-Frey Show when you give them a call. Patients are constantly saying that they've never had a dentist talk to them about, particular issues before, because when you work or you go to Foley Dental Group, they work with you with a whole health approach. You will not be disappointed. Go where the Frey family goes, to Foley Dental Group. Go online to FoleyDentalGroup.com.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business. jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
On April 4th, St. Louis County voters will see Prop M on their ballots. But what does Prop M mean for county residents? Prop M states, shall St. Louis County impose an additional sales tax of 3% on retail sales of adult-use marijuana sold in the county? The estimated yearly $3.5 million collected from this tax can be allocated to fund police, parks, and roads. Learn more about Prop M at stlouiscountymo.gov/Prop M. Paid for by St. Louis County, Missouri. Sam Page, County Executive, 41 South Central, Clayton, Missouri, 63105.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie-Frey Show.
That was a weird silence, wasn't it?
I was scared. I was like, does he know to turn his mic on?
So I was just sitting here thinking, you know what we should have said before? So do you normally turn the mics on or do you want me to turn my own mic on? And we didn't really have that conversation.
That's true.
So
we should have it now.
So I guess I'll turn my mic on, which, by the way, this mic is this switch is a little funky. Hey, by the way, if you're just tuning in, you're thinking, man, Annie's got a cold today. And I do. The kids have been sick. And I don't know what happened over the weekend, but I just felt this congestion. And then all of a sudden, this testosterone kicked in. And I lost my hair and got a deeper voice and turned into this person. So that's kind of what happened. Hey, my name's Mike Elam. I am sitting in today with the Annie-Frey Show, but the regular crew is all here. Wiggins is here. Brad is here. Hannah's running the board, although Hannah has headphones on today. And I got to tell you, I was so upset. Not upset. I was missing the opportunity of just being able to go through and relive that moment that you guys had the other day where Hannah doesn't have her headphones on. Hannah doesn't have her headphones on right now. No. I'm like, that was hilarious. So I was watching all that online. By the way, you can stream the show as always. It's on here. Sorry about the big bald spot that's on top. I have to remember when I fill in here, I have a tendency on the break to pick up my phone and start doing stuff on my phone. Whenever I do that, the huge blinding bald spot on my head shows down, and it's like, wow, okay, bald fat guy on the radio right now. So be careful when you look at that. That was a public disclaimer of what's going on. Hey, so I'm going to be here today. I'll be back on Friday. I'll be back following Monday. Tomorrow, who is here tomorrow?
I believe that is Brad Young will be in tomorrow.
So Brad Young is going to walk in the middle of just an S show that is going on in New York. And it's going to be interesting to see how all this stuff goes on. I was listening to the press conference earlier. Obviously, Trump is getting on his plane. I think he's flying out right now. I think he just took off from Florida. They were showing the plane on the tarmac a while ago. I don't know if he's already lifted off or not, but he's on his way to New York. He's supposedly going to spend the night at Trump Tower, and then I guess they'll do the arraignment tomorrow, and he'll report. So they were talking all about the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene said that she is going to be at the rally for Trump, and I think it starts tomorrow at 10:30.
Oh, boy.
So they called her out by name. If you're here and
don't come into New York City thinking you're just going to start trouble because we will arrest you. I'm like, did you really have to call out the Congresswoman? Of all the people, do you think she's going to just start, whipping out an AK and taking people out while she's at a rally?
Do you also believe that Republicans are not aware that you would target them for arrest?
Exactly.
Like if you sneezed the wrong way.
Yeah,
right.
I think that might be the message that's being conveyed with the current arrest that's happening to the former president.
Yeah, they were making it all about the fact, and they were implying heavily, it's all these people from around the country that are going to come here, all these GOPers that are going to show up in New York and start all this trouble. It's not native New Yorkers. And that's the point that they tried to go beyond normal to make and say, it's going to be all these people from out of town who are coming in and starting this. What I bet you happens, and this is just the thing that you see happen all the time, when Republicans start doing some sort of a rally, you are going to have the other side that's going to show up. And all I can think is Antifa folks are looking at this going,
how can we instigate?
Exactly. What can we do here? And you could see this just turning into a crap show on the streets of New York.
Yeah, deliberately.
Oh, of course.
Deliberately.
Because they're going to blame them.
And let me just give you a little bit of advice if you are a even independently minded person, or let alone a conservative. If you're headed to New York right now to be a part of a protest,
right,
that is your constitutional right.
It
However, if while there you see Ray Epps, don't do what he does.
Do not follow Ray Epps.
Or anybody else who's telling you, because and I've seen lots of commentators saying this over the weekend. I think actually Steve Bannon might have been one of them, saying, look, they're opening the doors for a cage here.
Yes.
Don't walk into it because they're just going to slam the door right behind you.
Exactly.
So that could be a part of this story, but we don't know. We hope it's not, because it's a setup if it is.
But they've already talked about how, since Trump's coming, he is a former president. Anytime a president or former president shows up, there's going to be all this Secret Service everywhere. They're going to be shutting down roads. And they've already said in front of Trump Tower, they're going to shut that road down pretty much the entire time he's there.
Yeah.
So, and they talked about around the courthouse, there's going to be a lot of restrictions there. They encourage everybody to take public transportation. Right. So it's New York. Have you seen anything on the news over the past couple of years of things that have been going on public transportation in New York? I mean, we've had a number of deaths. They're talking about how crime is rampant there. So I'm just thinking there's all these people who normally look for their crime victims on the subway who are going, yeah, come take the subway. I'm looking for new victims. This will be great.
Also, if you go to New York, avoid that guy.
Yes.
If you hear that guy near you, just get away.
You'll be looking for all the Midwesterners showing up who wave high and go, yep, that's
Let
my...
me just scooch on by you right here.
That's my Patsy right there. I'm going to go get that guy. That guy's for sure going to lose his wallet today. And probably a lot of other stuff that I'm going to take from that guy right there. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, we were talking right before the show started. I have not seen who's going to take the lead here, because they had said there is not going to be a perp walk. Like, that is not going to happen. They're not going to cuff Trump and walk him in for all the cameras. But Secret Service is going to have a lot to say about how this happens, which made me start going down the road of how does that work? So let's just say, for the sake of argument, just to be clear, I don't think any of this is going to happen. It is a far-fetched, just for the radio example that we are playing along because I've got time to fill in the very first segment, right? So that's where we're at on this one. Let's say Trump does get convicted and has to go do jail time. He still has Secret Service protection assigned to him. Do you have Secret Service in jail with you? Like, how does that work?
We don't know.
I know.
We have no idea how this plays out because it hasn't happened. Other than, you're a history guy.
Okay.
Did you see the somebody saying, no, this actually did happen to General Grant?
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's very different, though.
Well, what they said happened was that this is a newspaper report like 30 years after the supposed incident had happened.
Okay.
I'm glad you know about this.
Yeah, and they said, it's just their reporting's like that he got pulled over for speeding in his carriage. And the officer's like, I'm
thing?
sorry. Yeah, I guess so. I'm sorry, President Grant, but nobody's above the law, blah, blah, blah. There is no evidence whatsoever to verify that this event even happened to take place. It's just somebody
It's a
found
great
it.
story.
Right. Somebody found it in a newspaper. It was a story supposedly that was written like 30 years after the events had taken place about this police officer. And it's like, oh, how great is America? Nobody's above the law, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
We don't have any evidence that it took place.
So we can't interview Secret Service from 1890 either.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have no idea about whether they're going to be. We don't know whether or not he's actually going to do prison time either. You're just saying.
I'm just saying. So let's say the possibility, and it doesn't even have to be Trump. It could be anybody, any future president or past president that gets convicted, and they would get sent to jail. How does that work? Because I don't know, and there probably is, again, communications guy, not a lawyer, right? Good question for Brad tomorrow if he knows this. But I don't know that you lose. Is there a way for you to lose your Secret Service protection as a president, as a former president?
It's interesting because this is actually a fairly recent development that a former president would have Secret Service detail for life. I think within the Obama administration is whenever they actually.
Oh, I thought it was before that. I thought this went back to like Nixon.
I don't know about that, but
I don't know.
Maybe for events, but
all
the time.
Not all the
it
time.
may have just been expanded.
Okay. Yeah. So either way, though, that historically speaking, especially in the United States, that's a fairly recent development. And I don't know how that works because they're not sitting there going, okay, what we're going to do is arrest this man after they've been president,
right,
in retirement. It's probably just not something that's crossed anybody's mind yet, and so it's something they're going to have to deal with.
Because if you had a guy, especially a guy like Trump, right? If you have a guy like Trump who got put in a jail, any jail, with other prisoners, imagine the bounty that would be on his head for someone to go after him, right? I mean,
yeah, it's insane.
Look at what's going on just to get a charge against him. Look at how Bragg is out here fundraising big time and making a national name for himself.
That's how he got elected.
Oh, by all means. And now George Soros is trying to distance himself and saying, I never gave him money directly. Well, you may not have given him money directly, but you gave literally millions to his PAC.
Right. You can't give that money directly. That's illegal.
Right. And his family, by the way, his family gave tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands to his PAC as well. And this is how he got elected. That's how he got funded, along with a lot of other of these type DAs, just like our local lady here. And what's the lady in Chicago?
Kim Fox.
Kim Fox. So
Kim Gardner, Kim Fox.
There's a Kim connection there.
Yes.
I don't. It's not Korean, but it's a different type
It's
of Kim.
Kim times two, and it's
Kim
all
Square.
corrupt. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I feel so sorry for you, if your name is Kim, you just got painted with a broad brush by Ryan Wiggins right there.
If your name is Kim, prosecutor.
In a major city.
In a major city
If
in the
you are a
Midwest.
prosecutor in a major top 25 city and your name is Kim, really good chance that you're corrupt. So it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. Like I said, I'm curious to see how much they're going to be able to even interact with the former president, with the Secret Service being there, because they're going to be with him the whole time. And from what I've heard, and I don't know personally, but from what I've heard, these Secret Service folks tend to get pretty tight with the folks that they're guarding. And a lot of them have very good personal relationships with them. And they're going to take this kind of stuff seriously. They're not going to play it off, and they're not going to be, well, you're law enforcement, I'm a law enforcement. No. I mean, with the political nature of this whole thing, I haven't heard anybody say, this is a really good charge, and I think it's a slam dunk.
No.
I've heard all the opposite of this could get killed before it gets started. Because if the judge says, no, so on the federal that you're trying to charge him, the statute of limitations was 5 years. And I've heard that in different places. There's so much misinformation about this whole topic that I don't know what to believe and what not to believe anymore, because you see all the experts on Fox News, and they don't seem to be very definitive on any of it.
No, well, the indictment has not even been unsealed.
Right,
that's
so we
part
don't
of the
even know
problem.
what's going to happen.
But if here's how you know that from what we know that this is a very, very weak case. There are paid influencers all over online for Republicans and Democrats, some specific to Trump, some seem to be specific to DeSantis. They don't always disclose who they're working for, but you can kind of tell. The ones on the left, they're not necessarily Biden people, but he's in office right now, so they support Biden, right?
Okay.
So these are paid influencers who you wouldn't know unless you're on Twitter and you just see these people pop up all the time. They have tons of followers, and the only reason they're famous is because they became a political influencer.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Okay.
When you see that they have no real ability to defend Alvin Bragg here, because it's their job, it's all they do, is just take current events and put them into a frame for the average person to understand why Democrats are better in this situation. That's what they do. When they can't figure out how to do it, you know it's really weak.
Right.
And that is all I've seen for the last 2 weeks, Brad. I don't know about you because we're looking at a lot of the same people. They don't know how to defend this. They just are saying nobody is above the law.
Right.
The kind of like big, broad platitudes.
Right.
Specific to this case, though, it is so weak and clearly political. And even people who are unbiased are saying that the other things that could come down the line for Trump in either New York or Georgia would have been not necessarily strong, but a little bit better cases than this one. It's the worst one to lead with. Everybody knows it's purely political.
And it just sets a really bad precedent moving forward. And it's going to make the others easier to paint as political persecution.
Yes.
So, Mike, I wanted to ask you this question because we did ask it as a YouTube poll earlier or last week. We asked, do you think that Trump will be found guilty?
No.
So whenever we went around and we had that conversation, I'm of the mindset that I don't know that he can get a fair trial in Manhattan.
I don't think it's going to come down to the fair trial. I think it's going to, when you look at a lot of the stuff that we know about, to Ryan's point, we really won't know until tomorrow when this gets unsealed and we know exactly what he's being charged with. And supposedly there's like 30 different offenses that they're going to charge him with. So it sounds like they just threw the kitchen sink at him and said, I don't know, you think that'll work? Well, what the heck? What do we have to lose? The judge will just throw that one out, but we'll get one of these others in, right? So they're throwing everything they possibly can to try to make it stick. I think the majority of all this is going to get swept away quickly because they're going to say, you don't have the ability within your jurisdiction to be able to charge this. And everything that they're talking about is this election fraud that they're trying to paint this whole thing with just doesn't stand up because he's state and it's federal, and feds walked away from it because they said there's nothing here to charge. So he's trying to take a misdemeanor charge, make it a felony charge, because the misdemeanor charge only had a 2-year statute of limitations. That's done. That was done a long time ago.
And the misdemeanor charge was a fine.
Right.
Like a guilty.
Yeah. I don't even know if the majority of, well, there's no way to know until they unseal it. But long story short is, I don't think there's hardly anything that you can dream up from what we've heard that even involves jail time. I don't think that's possible. I think they just want to get some sort of conviction, whatever it is. And it could be, time served. You spent 2 days here. You had to ride the subway. That was your penalty. In New York, you had to ride that. Now, you got Secret Service protection, but you still had to be down there, and, man, it smells of urine strongly. So we're going to claim that as that's your...
We got you.
We got you. But they need something to hang on to him, and once they do that, then I think that's all they're really looking for. Remember, at the end of the day, I don't think this is about getting him convicted or anything. I think it's about wanting to taint his brand with independence. It's not about tainting him with Republicans.
No.
It's about tainting him with independents. And I think they want him to be the Republican nominee, but they want the independents and the Democrats to have such disdain when it comes to him that there's no way. Because you can't win with Republicans. You just can't. There's not enough of us to put you over the finish line. So you're going to have to get independents to be able to do it. If they make his brand so bad to where he can't, then that's, at the end of the day, that's all they really want, because it puts Geriatric Joe back in office for 4 more years, or until he can't walk up the stairs anymore, which could be before 4 years. We'll see how that goes. So to be discussed. We'll see where that goes. I've already gone long in the first segment. See, look at that. I just can't seem to get.
Before we get out of here, though, I do want to mention the YouTube live chat poll. The poll for today is will you vote in your local elections tomorrow? There's a bunch of local races going on in the area.
Yeah.
So we want to know if you're going to vote in the local elections, and go ahead and leave us a chat about what you're most excited about voting for. And Hannah will star those chats, and we will read them on the air later on in the show.
And I would caveat to say, if you have already voted, then vote yes. Right?
Yes.
In our poll, go ahead and vote yes, because no excuse voting. This was the first time in Missouri you could have voted for the last 2 weeks for no excuse voting. You didn't have to make up that lie that I'm going to be out of town, which, no one ever did, ever. So that's going on. Hey, Wiggins America is coming up later on this hour. Next hour, we're going to talk to Steve Moore, a distinguished fellow economics at the Heritage Foundation. And we're going to talk with Dr. Bernie DuBray from the superintendent of Fort Zumwalt School District. He is retiring this year after more than 40 years. And it's going to be interesting to find out the differences in education. By the way, you're voting for school board members tomorrow. So big thing. In the meantime, on the other side of this, we're going to talk to Tim Brinker. Tim is the Franklin County Commissioner. He's the presiding commissioner in Franklin County. We just don't talk about Franklin County very often. We talk a lot about St. Louis, St. Charles, Metro East, especially in the Annie Show. We talk about Metro East. But let's talk a little bit about Franklin County. There's some stuff going on there, and there's some stuff with East-West Gateway that he's a member of. We'll find out more about that when we talk to Tim on the other side. It's the Annie-Frey Show. My name is Mike Elam, sitting in today. Thanks for hanging out on 97.1 FM Talk.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
This is Cardinal Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith. Saturday, April 15th is Jackie Robinson Day. Join us at Busch Stadium to see the Cardinals take on the Pirates. In honor of Robinson's impact on Major League Baseball, that day, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older will receive a Cardinals cap saluting him and his historic career. That's Saturday, April 15th, Jackie Robinson Day at the ballpark. Great seats remain. Get your tickets at cardinals.com.
St. Louis. This your favorite artist, Seals. Meet me at the ballpark Saturday, April 15th for African American Heritage Day. Presented by Your Quality Ford dealers. With the purchase of a special theme ticket, fans will take home an exclusive t-shirt designed by me. Come early for a pregame Heritage celebration in the Budweiser Terrace. That's Saturday, April 15th. More info at cardinals.com/theme. Ski!
This is Jack Flaherty. See you at the ballpark.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here because you clearly have a refined palate. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
It's always exciting when you can start off with a little Led Zeppelin to get your day going a little bit better. Hey, my name is Mike Elam, sitting in for Annie Frey today. Lots of big stuff that's going on in the news, so if something breaks, we will cut into that and let you know. The president supposedly is flying on his way to New York right now. We will see if anything breaks from that. You know, they probably got cameras in the sky flying along with his plane and tracking it as it goes. I wouldn't doubt it. Everything so far has been televised, so we'll see what happens from this. Hey, I wanted to introduce you to Tim Brinker. Tim is a lifelong Franklin County guy. He's been serving the public in Franklin County going back to the early 90s, probably 94 or so. But he is the presiding commissioner in Franklin County, and I think he was elected there in 2018 into that capacity, but let's confirm that. Commissioner, how are you, sir?
Well, County Councilman Mike Elam, a pleasure, my friend. Thank you. I'm doing great.
I like to highlight county guys, right? So I'm on the radio. Us county guys really don't get the recognition that those fancy state and federal people get. Everybody pays attention to them. Nobody really cares about your county people. So we wanted to change that.
Well, bless your heart. Yeah, I always like to say, well, we get it done while everybody else can window dress.
Exactly. And most of the stuff that we deal with is not the sexy issues that I call them of the day. There's a lot of planning and zoning going on in our life, and it's really just not that exciting. But it will mess up your community if we don't do it well. But you guys seem to be doing it really well down in Franklin County. How long have you actually been been a county commissioner there now?
Yeah, well, I was first elected in the election of November of 12 to the associate commissioner seat, the 1st District of Franklin. Freedom-loving Franklin, by the way.
Freedom-loving Franklin County.
That's right. And then served in that capacity to 2018 when my predecessor, presiding commissioner John Griesheimer, former state senate and representative as well, retired early from his term. I was appointed at that time by Governor Parson to fill the unexpired term and then run for presiding, and successfully ran then and then again this past election last year for another 4-year term. So it's exciting and wonderfully. And as you mentioned, I was on a city council in the city of Washington since 1994 in advance of that. So I love the aspect, and just like you, of being involved locally. And the beauty of that involvement is the ability to have things enacted as soon as the following day.
Yes.
Whereas our state or federal government processes, perhaps you get something enacted and it goes into effect maybe a year later, or at best 6 months later. So I love the immediate impact of the positive things you can do.
And you folks down in Franklin County, much like the folks out in St. Charles, as I say kudos to Steve Elam and to you, there's a great message that's going on down in Franklin County. You guys have done very well. You're seeing population growth, but your crime rate is not growing, which is a really great combination when you can have more folks moving in, but you don't see a spike in crime. So kudos to you.
Well, and ditto. And I'll tell you what, you mentioned Steve Elam. What a great mentor for anybody who, at least from a perspective of studying the issues before acting. Steve is a very cerebral, thoughtful processor, and I really respect that in any individual, but especially in his capacity. Yeah, but we've been, there was a chart that came out relative to St. Charles County, Franklin County, and even Jefferson County.
Yes.
And in stark contrast, crime rate wise, to that of the city of St. Louis and St. Louis County, and that's refreshing, especially as you say with the growth that's going on.
You're seeing folks that are moving out of the city, and I was talking about this on Friday when I was on Mark Reardon's show, that the city of St. Louis is now below the 1876 population that they had. So back in 1876, they were right at 300,000. And I believe in this latest chart that just came out, they're around 284,000 people in the city of St. Louis. And they just keep losing population every year. And it's no wonder why they're losing population. I think we can look at all of those things, and we've talked about them ad nauseum almost. But the folks from the city seem to be moving into St. Louis County. But St. Louis County isn't growing because St. Louis County is seeing pretty much the same number of folks who move in are moving out to St. Charles, to Jefferson, and to Franklin County. And folks are really starting to figure out, hey, we've got some real jewels out here when you start looking at our collar counties as we are to the St. Louis City area.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, we call it the red collar around the blue city.
The red collar. I love that.
It's kind of fascinating, but it's true. And yeah, you hit it dead on. I think people really love, without being jestful, the freedoms of it all. Whereas you have a lot more autonomy to do with as you wish in these outlying counties from a life freedom perspective and from a pleasurable perspective. We made it easier to get to and fro. So the commute, as most Americans do in this region, in Franklin County, the average commute for the workforce is 26 miles a day. So, I mean, that's an average. So that tells us we have a real mobile workforce, and people are willing to do that, subject to the quality of life they can enjoy and sustain when they are not working.
But you seem to be having more development that's going on out in Franklin County. I mean, Washington in itself seems to be growing quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm going to call them our twin towers. The city of Washington and the city of Union, our county seat, are really, really thriving. And when they do, there are population centers, if you will. Washington's about 14,000. I think Union's right at 13,000. So they're really a nice chunk of our 104,000 population out here. And that doesn't sound like a lot to the likes of this big St. Charles County or St. Louis County by any means, but we're in a great condition to growth mode, and the beautiful thing about it is we have people that understand and can work within the sometimes contrary situations they get landed with in a growth situation. That's one thing I'll say, Mike, about St. Charles County is that you guys really take an initiative in terms of developments. Building, come on, field of dreams kind of thing. You built it, and they are coming. And you built it with knowledge of advance notice. I'm sure that, hey, we're going to continue this route. We better get ready for it. And you did it. And then, so we take that model and we apply it, obviously, on a lower scale, but in the same format.
Well, I think you've done a great job. Jefferson County, I think, has done a great job. I'm seeing Lincoln County is starting to see that expansion as well. The western side of the St. Louis metropolitan area is seeing a really good push. Unfortunately, it seems to be coming at the expense of the eastern side, the city losing it, the county losing it. And I go back to the example that I use many times when people talk about, especially out in my area, and I'm sure in yours, they start saying, I'm just done with the city and I don't care. But you and I sit on East-West Gateway, and we understand that we have to care about the region as a whole. And it's important because when I got out of the Navy basic training, we had to swim 200 yards to graduate from basic training. And the reason for that was when your ship sinks, and in the event that it hardly ever will, right? But in the event, the unlikely event that your ship starts to sink, you've got to get far enough away from it that undertow doesn't grab you and suck you to the bottom of the ocean along with your ship. That is the example that I kind of look at when I look at the city of St. Louis right now. If we don't fix it, that sinking ship that we're seeing in the city is going to take all of us. That whole red collar around the blue city is going to get sucked down with it. So I know you and I and others on East West Gateway, we're going to do the first meeting next month to start talking about a crime summit and how we have got to address the crime problem that is going on in the city of St. Louis specifically. But it's not just owned there anymore. It's now spun out to the rest of us, and we're starting to see a little bit more of that crime that we didn't used to see.
Yeah, that's fact. And you know, our prosecuting attorney's offices are getting a little busier, but they are processing, and they're pressing charges accordingly, unlike the city of St. Louis in a lot of cases. And that's really frustrating. That's the lowest hanging fruit, is get that prosecutor's office in the city of St. Louis at a level and a standard it needs to be operating at for the safety of all of us. You know, we're all not untouched by this. We all have family, friends, relatives, events, activities, things we do in the city. It's wonderful. This is not an anti-St. Louis. This is a, hey, let's fix this thing, St. Louis, and make us the great region we once were. I think it's very challenging to the fact that I'm like you, Mike. I'm so sick of talking about it. It is now a time for action, and that action needs twofold. And in my mind's eye, it has to do with the prosecuting attorney's office to put that support out there for the law enforcement officials that are out there and doing their job every day, and getting law enforcement officers hired. You know, we're down over 100 in the city of St. Louis, with over 100 plus expected to retire or get out through attrition this next year. There's going to be real issues in the very near future from an employment perspective for our law enforcement officials in the city of St. Louis. We need additional assistance relative to filling those voids.
We're talking with Tim Brinker. He's the presiding commissioner out at freedom-loving Franklin County out there. Hey, I've only got a minute left here. Just wanted to give you the last thing of what's the big thing that's coming up in Franklin County? What's the next big thing out in Franklin County?
Well, we have a north-south artery relative to infrastructure. It's Highway 47. It runs from Interstate 70, really, and beyond, but to Interstate 44. And we are going to turn that into 4 lanes eventually from the city of Washington, our northernmost city on 47, to the city of St. Clair, where it terminates at 44. And once that north-south artery is intact, we have the east-west artery of 100, Manchester, what have you, that runs to and through Washington out to Herman. And I'll tell you what, you know better than I do in a lot of cases, but this infrastructure, you've got to have it in place and be ready and make it happen. And that, by golly, we sure are. We'd like to envision sometime down the road as Highway 47 as the 470 loop in someday down the road. You know, it could be very interesting.
That infrastructure definitely leads to economic development, and you guys are doing a great job out there. I just wanted to touch base with you real quick. We don't talk about Franklin County enough on the radio station. Freedom-loving Franklin County is a great place. Commissioner Tim Brinker, you're doing a fantastic job, and we appreciate you taking some time to talk with us today.
Mike, thank you and 97.1 for all the good news you guys share with us. Thank you very much, my friend.
We appreciate it. Have a great day. Believe it or not, it is already time for Wiggins America. I can't believe we've burned through so much of this show already. So Ryan's going to be back here in just a little bit. So stick around on the other side. It's always exciting when you get to Wiggins America because there's shows or there's stories that show up I've never even heard of. But he lives on Twitter, so you never know, man. Some of these stories could be completely made up. Probably not. We'll see. It's the Annie-Frey Show. My name's Mike Elam, sitting in today. Thanks for listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Annie-Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Sherlock Holmes, we have a new mystery. My dear Watson, what conundrum requires our sleuthing? It's these high gas prices, Sherlock. How do I stop paying too much at the pump? Elementary, Watson. Simply use the Cashback app, Upside. The Upside app has eluded my attention. Oh, come now, Watson. Upside is the revolutionary app that's free to download, and you get real cashback for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200. So you can really make cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway. Precisely, my dear Watson. I have the app open now. Look, there's a gas station not far far from here offering 25 cents per gallon cash back. Sherlock, you've done it again. I will now use the Upside app and earn cash back on every gallon of gas I buy.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HOMES to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HOMES for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HOMES for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
When the taxpayers approved Prop S for Francis Howell, they had no idea that there would be an $80 million cost overrun. The current board voted for and allowed it to happen. $80 million of your tax dollars. Hi, my name is Jane Pushkar, and I'm running for the Francis Howell School Board. Francis Howell is now going from a guaranteed surplus to a dire financial situation. With a degree in accounting and an MBA, I know where to look for cuts. Take back Francis Howell finances. Vote for Jane Pushkar on April the 4th. Paid for by Friends of Jane Pushkar, Ron Pushkar, Treasurer.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We trust companies to do what's right, but when they don't, there's Onder Law, making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-9 million.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service offers insulation services. Did you know 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated? Increase your energy savings and comfort with better insulation. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The voice for hardworking, free-thinking Americans.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
25 years and my life is still.
Ooh, I haven't heard this song in a while.
That's because you've been inside. You need to step outside.
What's going on?
That was a good one.
What's going on? Is this Four Non-Blondes?
Yep.
Is that who this is? Look at that. Hey, it's my old DJ days, everybody. Stacks and Stacks, the hot wax.
See?
Hey, Mike Elam sitting in for Annie Frey today. Was that an expression that you... Or were you just making fun of the DJ voices coming out?
Anytime Heidi's on, she says... She always promotes the fact that me and her have a talk block of Sunday nights from 5 to 9.
The rock block.
And we would say, well, it's the rock block from 5 to 9. And I always say, spinning hot stacks of wax. And
That's
they're like,
it.
oh, we've never heard that before.
We got stacks and
See?
stacks of hot wax. That's it. Spending your favorites and making it happen.
He sounds like a pro when he does it.
He sounds like
hot stacks of wax.
It's a boss jock from the 70s. Hey, everybody, Chuck Roast here. Spending all your favorite times. Oh, my gosh. Hey, we're running out of time. We better get to Wiggins America.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins
This clip is from when J.D. Vance, we're talking about East Palestine, Ohio here because nobody else is. We're going to update you.
We're done with that now, didn't you know?
Oh, it was a story
Cameras
for a couple
gone.
weeks.
Story's in.
Those people are fine now, we assume.
Yeah, we're worried about the derailment up in Montana now.
Yeah, we're just thinking about that one. We're not thinking about anything else. So I wanted to update you because what I've got here is actually pretty shocking. This is J.D. Vance from when this initially happened.
Hey guys, so I'm here at Leslie Run, and there's dead worms and dead fish all throughout this water. So, something I just discovered is that if you scrape the creek bed, it's like chemical is coming out of the ground. Can you come here and let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to see this in the camera, but watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting. And the fact that we have not cleaned up the train crash, the fact that these chemicals are still seeping in the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine. Do not forget these people. We've got to keep applying pressure. That's how we're going to fix this problem. Thank you.
Okay, so that is J.D. Vance. He's, of course, the senator from Ohio. That was shortly after the train derailment and all the chemicals that went everywhere. We talked about that, actually pulled that clip because I think I was hosting Annie Frey's show randomly when she was gone one day when we were talking about that. Same clip. We talked about how if you see the video, at the time, the EPA was saying everything's fine. We can't find anything wrong. He's literally just standing in a creek, dragging a stick through the creek bed, and you can see that sheen. That
it looks like oil and stuff was coming up from there. If you've ever seen that before, that's exactly what it looked like.
Oh, no, nothing here.
No,
nothing here.
Everything's fine.
We're fine.
Big old drink of that. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's the dead fish and worms everywhere, yet everybody's saying, oh, this is okay.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with the process of discovery because obviously they're not going to come in right away and know exactly where everything's okay, where it's not, because there's going to be limits to how far the contamination would go. But they were saying right away, it's fine. Well, it was not fine.
It's not fine.
It was not fine, and everybody knew it. So I thought, this is an update from the New York Post. So this isn't, conspiracy. I know you said that I'm a whatever you said. You teased by saying he just brings up the most BS stories in the world.
On YouTube that no one else knows about.
He lives on Twitter.
Yeah, he lives on Twitter.
He lives on Twitter.
But Brad just said it. But he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
No, I was talking about Mike.
He meant
no,
me.
you weren't. You were talking about me.
No, he was talking about me.
You were talking about me. This is from the New York Post. This now they're reporting on what the CDC is reporting now. The CDC is not reporting on, things have changed in East Palestine. What they have reported on is that they have sent a 15-person team to the site. And mostly they were around a couple houses near where the actual derailment happened. So like right at ground zero.
Okay.
Of these 15 people on the CDC team, 7 of 15 of them are sick with symptoms
really
similar to what's being reported in East Palestine. Now, they are saying, well, we don't know if it's related or not, but it just so happens to be the same stuff that everybody there is reporting. And they're saying, well, we just don't know.
What a coincidence.
It's amazing that they can't at least, look, if you don't have the answers, say you don't have the answers.
Right.
Say, I don't know. Maybe you should just drink bottled water for the next few weeks. Evacuate if you can. We're going to give you the information as we can find it. I'm sorry that doesn't give you comfort, which is what they're looking for. They're looking to be authoritative.
Right.
Instead of just saying, we don't know, which is the problem from the get-go. If you don't know, say you don't know, because the larger conversation here is that you are eroding trust in our institutions by trying to have answers when you don't have answers or make up answers when you don't have them.
That is a huge point that I wish more people would make. There is nothing wrong with you saying, I don't know. You haven't had a train derailment of this size, or at least not a lot of them, where you're able to have tons of data, and you don't have the depth to go back and look at years to say, what's the long-term effect here? We don't know. And it's okay for you to say, look, looking at the damage that happened here, we really need to do more investigation to be able to figure it out. Better than safe, to be safe than sorry. So to your point, take all the precautions that you feel are necessary. And we're going to bring in a team and try to figure this out. The more that we uncover, the more we're going to share with you. But right now, we're going to take this step by step, and we're going to be as transparent as we possibly can. That's not what they're doing.
It's just been past the buck.
It is.
Nobody will take responsibility for it. They're trying to pin this on, was it Norfolk, the train company? And they should take responsibility for this. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but for the government to then come in and say, well, we're going to tell you this information. What it looks like is, and I'm not just saying it in this instance, but in a lot of instances, the government looks like they're covering for the rest of the government.
You do know who the major shareholder of Norfolk Southern is, don't you?
Please tell.
Warren Buffett.
Well, thank you for connecting that dot for me.
There you go.
These are highly influential people.
Yes.
They buy off politicians, and so they have a lot of protection in Washington.
Right.
And everybody understands, even if I didn't know that, but I'm still skeptical because all of these people are in cahoots so often. Now, I didn't know about this particular instance, but most of the time, all of the most wealthy and powerful individuals also are in politics.
Yeah.
And they buy people's elections, and therefore they never face any problems. And I think that's what we're seeing over and over and over is anytime there's a problem now, you don't know who to trust because everybody's got skin in the game, usually financial skin in the game,
right?
Where they're always protecting each other. And that should not affect government, but it does.
Well, and the thing about it is, too, like you were saying, you don't know who to trust, and they've given you no reason to trust them. There's no honesty. Even if that honesty is, I don't have the answer for you right now.
And this is a great example of them telling you things before they really know, and now their own people are getting sick in East Palestine. You know they're not telling you the truth.
If you go back to the Keystone Pipeline, and why was Obama so against the Keystone Pipeline? How do we get oil in this country from Canada if it doesn't come in a pipeline? It comes on oil tankers on rail cars. Who owns the majority of the railroads? Warren Buffett. Who's a major financier of the Democratic Party? Warren Buffett. I don't want those pipelines because they're dangerous. Really? Are they dangerous, or are they just taking the oil cars away from you and they're cutting your money?
The problem is, I didn't know that fact, but every single time you hear about anything, I mean, you could bring up anything like that. You peel back a couple layers, there it is. It's the same thing every time. That's crony capitalism is what it is, but it's the people on the Democrat side and Republican, but there are a lot of Democrats who rail against crony capitalism. They're the ones doing it. They are, but they're all doing it.
It's the oil or the onion of America. We're peeling the layers back on Wiggins America. It's the Annie-Frey Show. Thanks for listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
If you own a home in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes, stlouis.com at 314-782-8000 and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant homes, inherited homes, fixer-uppers, beautiful homes, even the tenant who won't pay the rent apartment. Google us. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out our best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to our website, chrisbuyshomes.stlouis.com, or call Chris at 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you've been waiting for. 314-782-8000.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
New York City prepares for a date with history. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Former President Donald Trump is due for arraignment in New York tomorrow afternoon.
While there may be some rabble-rousers thinking about coming to our city tomorrow, our message is clear and simple. Control yourselves.
Mayor Eric Adams at a briefing with the city's police commissioner.
New York City is our home, not a playground for your misplaced anger.
The White House also encouraging people to remain peaceful as Trump heads to New York today, planning to return to Florida and make a statement after tomorrow's arraignment on an indictment that is still sealed for now. The administration disagrees with an OPEC decision to cut oil production again.
U.S. officials were given a heads up about OPEC's announcement of production cuts, a decision that National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby calls unadvisable.
I can't even begin to speculate why this decision was made. We don't know, and I'm not going to try to guess.
Kirby says the oil market is in a different place than it was when OPEC cut production last year over U.S. objections, with prices now around $80 a barrel, down from about $120 a barrel several months ago.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Rising oil prices are potentially helpful to Russia, which is also extending its own production cuts as the war in Ukraine continues. Russia is blaming Ukrainian intelligence agencies for the bombing that killed a pro-war blogger at a cafe in Russia's second largest city, St. Petersburg, yesterday. That bombing wounded more than 30 other people. Russia has a suspect in custody. One senior Ukrainian official describes the bombing as part of Russia's internal turmoil since the war began, without responding directly to allegations of Ukraine's involvement. America is listening to Fox News.
Spring is here, and it's time to add some life to your wardrobe with Untuck It. Untuck It shirts are designed to be worn untucked, so you look your best even at your most casual. From iconic button-downs starting at just $55 to wrinkle-resistant linen shirts, printed polos, and brushed cotton tees, there's something for everyone. But Untuck It isn't just about shirts. They also offer a wide range of pants and shorts to complete your look. Visit untuckit.com or stop by one of 80-plus stores to find the perfect fit for your spring wardrobe.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus next-day energy with melatonin plus extended-release B vitamins.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Springtime in the air on this Monday afternoon. Partly sunny, windy, and warm. 72 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy, windy, and mild. 59 degrees. Tuesday, partly sunny, very warm, very windy. Maybe a pop storm, but a lot of dry time. 84 on Tuesday. An increase in rain and thunderstorms Tuesday night. Some could be strong. Wednesday, a couple of pop storms, partly sunny, and 68. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Are you thankful for the first responders in your community? Then nominate a local department and let us feed them a great meal. Compliments of Grill Master Tony Stone. Mark Cox here. Visit 971talk.com/contests and nominate someone today.
Stewart's American Mortgage at 314-324-4440 is your friend when it comes to the mortgage business. You partner with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, and he introduces you to the bagel loan. Nobody else out there right now has the bagel loan. It's just Stewie's. He named it. It's his baby. I have used it twice with refinances on my home, but you can use it as well to make a purchase. If you are out there trying to compete in this kind of wild and crazy real estate market and you found the house that you want to make your home, Stewie can help you through that process. Become the most competitive buyer submitting an offer with Stewie. Here's one of the things that he does. Once you get your pre-approval done, so you know what you were pre-approved for, you can generate your own pre-approval letters on his website. You don't have to wait for a third party to generate these letters. letters for you. It's at your fingertips. You don't have to pay when you get the bagel loan closing costs that everybody else is going to charge you for. It's going to save you thousands of dollars to make you a more competitive buyer. 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226715.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you hate standing on concrete floors because of foot, knee, or low back pain?
I couldn't stand on hard surfaces. The pain would get so severe that I couldn't stand it.
Tired of living in pain?
I wanted to take off my shoes as soon as I got home every day.
You need comfort in your life.
Now I have no foot pain and I can wear any dress shoe that I want.
Good Feet fits in all your shoes. Ladies, you can now be comfortable in your favorite high heels. Good Feet. No shots, no surgery, no medication.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations. On Olive, west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
This is Mark Ponder. I'm a candidate seeking to be elected to the Francis Howell School District Board of Education. I'd like to make sure our district brings back fiscal responsibility due to the massive $78 million Prop S overrun. I want to communicate with the teachers and give them the support they need and certainly deserve. Ensure we communicate much more with the community that supports us and provide a transparency and education that will bring back the trust our voters surely deserve. On April 4th, I hope you'll consider casting your vote for me. For more information, you can find me on Facebook or visit voteponder.com. Paid for by friends of Mark Ponder, Sherry McNeil, Treasurer.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Annie Frey Show. My name is Mike Elam, sitting in for Annie today. You know, there are opportunities when you get to fill in on radio shows from time to time that you actually get to have conversations with people where you've seen them on television for a long time, you've listened to them on radio for a long time, but you haven't had the opportunity to ever meet them or talk with them. But when you sit on big fancy radio shows like the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, you get to talk to people that you respect and admire, and you get to hear their opinions because they're much more informed than your communications degree mind has considered to this point. One of those folks you're about to meet. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to the Heritage Foundation, Stephen Moore, Distinguished Fellow in Economics. Mr. Moore, I am very excited to get the opportunity to talk to you. Been a fan of yours for a very long time.
Well, wow, what a great opportunity to talk to you. Thanks so much for having me. Where's Annie today?
She's
Holy
out,
Week.
She's out all week, right?
Yeah, she's out with her kids for the spring break week.
Good for her. Well, it's great to talk to you. And boy, we've got a lot to talk about with this economy. And, you see what's happening with the dollar. And now the oil price is going up again. And it's just like, it seems like nothing seems to be going right now with the American economy.
We were just having a discussion off air about the price of oil and kind of where that has gone, ebbed and flows over the years. And I had heard years ago, you would know this better than any of us, that in many developing countries, when the price of oil goes low, they can't afford to pump it out of the ground because I had heard years ago for Iran, for example, it was around $45 to $47 a barrel is what it cost them to get it out of the ground. So when oil was down around $40, they couldn't even afford to pump it. They would lose money on every gallon or every barrel that was pumped. Is that still the case?
The one thing about our oil producers, by the way, let's step back a minute. So, the big story is that the Saudis have cut their, and OPEC have cut their, their production by a little over 1 million barrels a day, or at least they've agreed to that. And so the price of oil went up again today. It's back above $80 a barrel, which is probably about the equivalent of about $4 a gallon at the pump. And what's so frustrating to me is, as you know, I was an economic advisor to Trump, and one of the things I talked to him a lot about was energy policy.
Right.
And we became not just energy independent, we became dominant in energy in Trump's last year in office. And so now, OPEC is cutting 1 million barrels a day. But if we just stuck with the Trump policy on energy, oil and gas, and just produced all of our energy, we would be producing 2 million more barrels a day than we are. So we wouldn't even have to worry about OPEC. So that's my frustration.
It just seems like there's got to be a bigger plan here that I don't see. There's got to be a bigger plan that there is a vision somewhere that this administration has, and I don't understand what it is, because it seems like they are intentionally doing everything they can from an economic standpoint, at least, to destroy the foundation of our government. Now, I know that sounds very, Wiggins America conspiracy theory. Sorry, Ryan, I just had to do that. But at
least I'm here for this.
At least you're here for that one. It just sounds far-fetched that you would think that any political party would wish for their government to collapse on itself. But I can't figure out another way to explain the border policy, the energy policy that they have here, the defense policy, even their climate policy that they have, that they claim to love. But they're going out and trying to get oil from countries that don't take any of the safeguards that our oil industry does to pull it out of the ground. And they're fine with dirty oil from some other country, but they don't want to pull it out from us. That makes no sense to me.
Well, everything you said is exactly true. It doesn't make any sense unless you're radical climate change person. But even if you think that climate change is the end of the world, none of the policies that we're putting in place are changing anything. Last year, there was a record amount of carbon emissions in the atmosphere. So all of these policies that Biden has put into place, and we've been doing this for 20 years, they've made no difference at all. So you have to wonder, is this intentionally designed to try to hurt America? Because none of the other countries, do you think China cares about climate change?
No. Why would they?
Don't. Well, because they care mostly about taking over the world economy. And so this makes me very, very nervous about what's happening with our country. You asked about, our drillers here. They can make money even at, $50 or $60 a barrel because they just get better and better at it. And don't forget, we also have we have not only the most abundant oil, but we also have the cleanest oil. We have the best environmental protections of any country in the world. And so even from a standpoint of environmentalism, the Biden policy makes no sense whatsoever. And if I sound frustrated, I am, because why are we doing this to ourselves? It's bad for our national security. It's bad for inflation. It's bad for our trade deficit. It's bad for jobs. And so, sometimes I wonder, is this some kind of deliberate ploy to try to, burn down the village so they can rebuild it?
I can't figure out any other way. We're talking with Steve Moore, the Distinguished Fellow in Economics at Heritage Foundation. Steve, I've been hearing these stories lately, and I don't know how true they are, of talking about China working with these developing countries and getting off of the dollar as the standard. Is this true? Are they really going that direction?
I'm not. Look, the way I've always put it is that we're the least rotten apple in the cart.
Right.
So, we do have, we're borrowing way too much money. We're borrowing $2 trillion a year. Our national debt is headed to $50 trillion. Did you know that? $50 trillion in the next 10 years if we stay on the Biden path.
That just doesn't seem sustainable at all.
Unfathomable. Everybody knows. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, no matter what you are, you know that that's wrong and it's dangerous. And so what they've been doing, by the way, so your listeners understand, is they're practicing something called modern monetary theory. Have you ever heard of that?
No, but it sounds scary.
Well, it is scary. It is modern monetary theory is this big bad idea that some of these leftist, academics came up with that just said, oh, the United States, we're the world reserve currency, so we can just borrow as much money as we want to, and it doesn't negatively affect our economy at all. We can just, it's like saying, you're fine as long as you don't run out of checks in your checkbook, right? That's sort of the logic of this.
No, I still have money. Look, here's my checks.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the way they think. And so we tried this monetary policy. And how do you like it, America? How do you like, 7, 8, 9% inflation, the higher prices of just about everything? And so we need a shift in direction, no question about it. When Trump was president, do you recall us talking about OPEC very often?
No, not at all.
Yeah, they didn't have power to raise the price of the global oil price because we were the leading producer. Now we have to how humiliating it. We have a president has to go over hands and knees and prostrate himself in front of these oil sheiks in Saudi Arabia to get them to increase their production. Well, we won't do it in Texas and Oklahoma and North Dakota.
It just makes no sense to me because he'll even go to places like Venezuela. That
I know.
I thought we had sanctions against them. What happened to that? And now we're going to buy oil from them, which we were telling everyone else you can't, but it's okay. It's okay for us. You talked about spending and the deficit and all this. You had written an article back in December about Republicans can curtail government spending now, but I don't know that they are. Are you seeing that happen?
No, we have two big spending parties in Washington. Politicians love to spend money, whether they have a R or a D next to their name. Now, there's some exceptions to that in the Republican Party, but most of the Republicans like to spend money and then go to the ribbon-cutting ceremonies. Like one of the wonderful things I did, because spending other people's money is a lot of fun.
Ask my kids. They love it. Yeah, they think it's great.
They love it. So we need, look, I worked for Trump. I think he did incredible things for our economy, for our country. But even Trump liked to spend money. I hate to tell you, but even Trump liked to, grease the skids with a little more money into the economy. And so, look, I feel very strongly about this, and I want to say this before time is up. At some point in the next 6 months, I don't know if it's going to happen next week or next month or 6 months from now or right before Christmas, we're going to have this come to Jesus moment on the debt. And as you know, Joe Biden's position on the debt, so people are very clear on this, is give me an unlimited credit card. I'm not negotiating, I want to spend as much as I possibly can. Give me an unlimited credit card. Now, can you imagine going into a bank and telling the loan officer, well, I need a loan, I'm running a deficit, how are you going to get out of debt? I don't have any plan. Do you think they'd give you the loan?
I didn't plan on paying it back, no.
What's our plan for paying it back? Printing more money?
Yeah, so far we really haven't had one so far.
Yeah.
Nope. Steve, this is Steve Moore from the Heritage Foundation, Distinguished Fellow in Economics. I know you need to run. You're in a tight schedule today, but really appreciate you taking some time. Personally, it's very exciting for me to get the opportunity to have a conversation with you. We will keep a watchful eye. We appreciate your writings and your thoughts on these subjects. And it's always good to have a guy like you to help us figure out what's going on.
Well, thank you very much. And I hope you and all your listeners go to our Committee to Unleash Prosperity website and are you getting our hotline we put out every morning?
We are. Thank you very much for that.
I want all your listeners to get it too. And you know what? We've fought inflation. You know how we fought inflation? You know what the Committee to Unleash Prosperity hotline costs?
How much?
No, it's free.
Hey,
I'm not selling anybody anything, and it's zero when Trump left office, and it's still zero even after 15% inflation.
It's a great economic plan. Hey, Steve, real quick, how can our listeners get that if they want to get it?
Oh, just go to the website Committee to Unleash Prosperity and just click on signing up for the thing. And as I said, we're not selling you anything. We want you to have it because, as Newt Gingrich says, this is a good thing to get if you want to be the smartest person in the room.
I love that. Stephen Moore, thank you very much for taking the time today.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
It's always great to talk to guys like that because they live in the middle of the fray, right? So they sit in the fire all the time and they watch this. And when you sit around and look at what's going on TV and you're trying to live your life, raise your family, just get along. The majority of people are just like, government, leave me alone, right? Just let me live my life. And I want to be happy. That's all I'm looking for. And you do not make me happy, government. So get out of my life as much as you could possibly do. And then you look at what's going on, you go, this makes no sense. The example that he's saying, where Biden's saying, give me an unlimited credit card, Congress. Let me spend whatever I want to spend. And imagine if you went into a bank and tried that same thing. They'd be like, not only is the answer no, but hell no, and get out of my bank.
The nice thing, since you're us, though, is that $30 trillion in debt, okay, big deal. Just print $30 trillion, and then you're out of debt. It just solves it, Mike. I don't get why people don't get that. I mean, we're the world's reserve currency. We can do everything. Oh, wait, we're not quite the world's reserve currency anymore. We're losing that status. I'm going to have to rethink this.
Yeah, what happens, right? So what happens if, and I love the fact that he paused because maybe it's not true, but I had started hearing that Brazil and some other countries were looking at trading on the Chinese currency.
With China.
Yeah. But that's a step, right?
It is a step.
If they start trading on another currency and it works for them, then why do they need to trade on ours? Especially if they can get most everything they want by trading with them. And if trading on the Chinese currency gives them a better deal than trading on the U.S. currency, why wouldn't you do it? Isn't that why we all shop on the internet these days? I mean, we go to Amazon because Amazon gives us a better price than if I go to the actual website of the company who makes said item. So if I can buy it from somewhere else and I can buy it at a better price, why wouldn't I? And it's no different for countries than it is for consumers.
Yeah, that's such a deep topic because it's not necessarily that I don't think China is necessarily giving them a better deal.
We don't know, though.
But we don't really know. It's that they're just they still have to compare it to something.
They
just
do.
like right now, if you buy Bitcoin, you're buying, how many US dollars does it compare to? So you're still comparing, even if you're not using dollars, you're still comparing it to something.
You are.
So what China's just trying to do is say, compare it to our money instead of the dollar, which nobody's really doing yet, but they're trying to make steps to make sure that if anybody's going to compare it to anything else, it's going to be the yuan.
The thing that would scare the hell out of me and hopefully anyone else who's paying attention is if you ever come off of the dollar as a standard to what you were saying, I can't just print 30 million, 30 billion more. Or 30 trillion. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's DC. I forget. We're talking trillions now, not billions anymore. Billions was so 10 years ago. Come on, catch up.
Yeah, billions, nothing.
Billions, I wish it was billions, right? That would be great. But if we come off of the dollar as a standard, that will crush everything for us. It will completely destroy the United States. And I don't think that's anything that's going to happen next week. I don't think it's going to happen in the next 10 years. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to. I'm betting on the fact that Joe Biden is not going to be our president in 2025. I'm betting on that fact because like we were just talking about with Steve Moore, if we continue to go down this road, I don't see anything getting better with the current administration because they seem hell-bent on making sure that we go down this rabbit hole where there is nothing good. $50 trillion in debt. Steve Moore just said that.
Yeah.
If we continue on this path, the Biden administration is going to get us to $50 trillion. Do you remember that TV show, Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Mm-hmm.
Where he talks about how the rules are made up and the points don't matter. That's pretty much the Biden economy, right? The rules are made up and the points don't matter. And that money, who cares? 50 trillion, 50 billion, 50 gazillion, whatever.
Look, it's we got to get out of this 4 years, economically especially, and culturally, I would say, across the board. But this 4 years, it could be so damaging to our economic prospects long term. I mean, we're going to get a recession here soon, probably too.
We are.
So they're going to hurt their own reelection possibilities by the way they've handled the economy because they're so stupid that they don't even do things to benefit themselves. They don't know what they're doing at all.
The changes that are happening in our country right now are monumental. And I know that sounds far-reaching, but it's true. I never would have thought that we would be where we are right now. Just 10, 15 years ago, I never would have thought our country would be where we are right now. And the good news is you have a vehicle to influence change. And one of those vehicles happens tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day for you to go to the polls if you haven't done it yet. And you get to vote on your municipal leaders, but you also get to vote on your school board members. School boards have changed so much. And we've got an opportunity in this next segment. We're going to have a conversation with Dr. Bernard DuBray. Dr. Bernie DuBray is the superintendent of the Fort Zumwalt School District. He's been in education for almost 50 years. He's finally going to retire. People thought Bernie was never going to retire. He was just going to sit in this seat. He's been a great superintendent, but he has seen changes in the educational system that you wouldn't believe. We're going to get the opportunity to pick his brain for a few minutes about that, and we will find out what's going on. This is something you're going to want to hear. It's the Annie-Frey Show. My name is Mike Elam. Thanks for hanging out with us today. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie-Frey Show. The Annie-Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
She's a real good liar. 'Cause the backstage of Vogue set your pants on fire.
AirComfortService.com is the website for you to go check out how to get the insulation in your home improved. Go to AirComfortService.com/insulation for those details. Also, as spring is upon us, if you are looking for an opportunity to replace your HVAC system, I want to tell you about a great opportunity for you to save. Call Air Comfort Service and ask about their hybrid HVAC system bundle. For a limited time, you're going to be able to save $7,500 in manufacturer and utility rebates and tax credits on a hybrid HVAC system. Air Comfort Service is always looking to pair you with the best rebates that are available to get you the best price, and it comes with the best service. Air Comfort Service is exactly who you've been looking for to trust your HVAC system home in their hands so that you always get to stay in your comfort zone. If you go with that hybrid system, you can bundle your new hybrid system with attic installation and save an additional 20%. Air Comfort Service is waiting for your phone call, 314-513-0091. Mention the Annie-Frey Show when you give them a ring. Find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
There are a lot of smart business people out there making smart decisions by getting Rhino Shield. The latest one, the Central Illinois Care Services, they have decided to go with Rhino Shield on the outside of their building so they won't have to worry about maintenance from now on. The list is long. Joe's Tire out in Sullivan, Stonehill Wineries in Herman, they've all got Rhino Shield on their buildings. You can have it on your business or your house. Just call 877-25-RHINO. Let Darren come out and give you a free estimate as to what it would cost to get this great product on your home. 25-year transferable warranty, 100% waterproof, 8 to 10 times thicker than paint, and as a satisfied customer, 15 years in, I can tell you it looks as good as the day they put it on. You're going to love Rhino Shield. Call them right now. Tell them you heard about it on the Mark Cox Morning Show. Again, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25RHINO.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Sherlock Holmes, we have a new mystery. My dear Watson, what conundrum requires our sleuthing? It's these high gas prices, Sherlock. How do I stop paying too much at the pump? Elementary, Watson. Simply use the Cashback app app, Upside.
The Upside app has eluded my attention.
Oh, come now, Watson. Upside is the revolutionary app that's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
So you can really make cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway.
Precisely, my dear Watson. I have the app open now. Look, there's a gas station not far from here offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Sherlock, you've done it again. I will now use the Upside app and earn cash back on every gallon of gas I buy.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HOMES to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HOMES for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HOMES for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The Mark Reardon Show.
State Senator Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
If you swerve and then the police see, oh, you have the phone in your hand, then you could get a ticket for texting while driving. But they can't just pull you over and say you were texting.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
I saw you dancing in a crowded room. You look so happy when I'm not with you.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFreyShow.
It is the Annie Frey Show. My name is Mike Elam, sitting in for Annie Frey today. Very excited to get to spend time with the Annie Frey cast. These folks are fantastic to work with. Hannah gets the short straw so many times when I fill in for Annie. She's running the board with us today. Brad gets off Monday and Friday and gets to hang out in Hannah's area, basically.
Yep.
So you guys swap places on Monday and Friday.
Yep.
So I'm honored that you were here.
Thank you.
I'm getting to learn a lot about Hannah over the years, and all of it is very good. Congratulations on your promotion here, by the way.
Thank you. Today is my first day being full-time with Odyssey. I'm super, super excited. I posted in detail what my new position is. I will still be with the Annie Frey Show, but I'll be doing other things with Odyssey as well. So I posted that on my Instagram @hannah.gibbs, and it has more information there of what my new job will be.
I'm sure most people are going, wait, I thought you were full-time, because it seems like you were always here.
I was here every day, but not for very long. I basically was just here for the show, and then I left. So now I have more time to do a ton of things with 97.1.
Well, obviously you're doing a great job.
Thank
they
you.
have made you full-time. I am excited about the fact that I get to work with you again.
Thank you.
I hope everyone else is excited about the fact that tomorrow is Election Day. And our YouTube live chat poll is going on right now. You can go on, you can vote, or you can vote in the poll about voting. So will you vote in your local elections tomorrow? Yes or no? That is the poll question of the day. Will you vote in your local elections tomorrow? Yes or no? It is really important that you do. And one of the big elections that we are voting on tomorrow is school boards. School boards determine so much about your community. And I am honored for the fact that we have Dr. Bernard DuBray, who is joining us today. He is the superintendent of the Fort Zumwalt School District. All of my kids are Fort Zumwalt graduates, and believe it or not, they're all turning out well. So, Dr. DuBray, welcome to the show, and thanks for doing a great job educating my kids.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate being here.
It's always good to talk to you. So, I know people have talked about this for a number of years, but you have finally announced that you are going to retire.
Right.
So when is your last day that you're actually going to be on?
Well, last day will be June 30th this year, and that'll complete 38 years in the superintendency of the Fort Zumwalt School District. So I'm the longest serving superintendent in the state of Missouri.
Wow. And you've been in education since what, 85?
No, I've been in education since 69. This
69?
is my 54th year, so I've been around a while.
Wow. Well, you've seen a little bit of everything, I would assume, going back in all that time.
I really have.
So I'm just curious, and I'm sure this is probably too big of a question to ask you, but just kind of looking back at your career and looking back at where education was when you got into it and where education is today, what's the biggest thing that you would kind of point to, or maybe few things that you would point to that you have seen change, both positive and negatively?
Yeah, the most change has taken place in technology. I started in 1969 as a teacher and coach at Pattonville, and there were no laptops, there were no computers, or the computers they did have were as big as a car, and they were used for things like grade reporting and scheduling and things like that. So today, we in Fort Zumwalt are a one-to-one school district and send all of our 5th graders through 12th graders home at the end of each day with a laptop, a Chromebook, and then we've got plenty of machines that are available for the younger kids, 4th and 4th grade and below. And what they can do today is just phenomenal. For an old guy like me, it's real easy for, to get lost in the weeds. But these kids are so smart when it comes to technology, and that's a really good thing. So that's the positive side to it as far as what they're able to learn and grow in. The negative side with technology would be all the social media that kids take part in during the school day sometimes, but certainly at night and at home. And I don't think that's the best thing in the world for them, because it does open itself. It opens it up to communication, which is good, but it also opens it up to bad things like bullying and things like that at various hours of the evening. So good and bad to it. Probably overall it's been better rather than worse.
You know, I was having a conversation with my son the other day, my middle son, and talking about the fact of you never get out of that bullying type environment that when I was younger, when you got away from the school, nobody could really bully you at home. Like you were fine. And I hate to use this expression, but you were in a safe environment when you were there. These days, social media penetrates so many different areas. These kids really don't have a way to get away from it. It tends to follow them so much. And it's really sad when you see, to your point, there's something that is really good about technology when it's used in a positive way, but the ugly side of technology can just be catastrophic for some of these kids.
It really can. And, when I was in school and in high school and middle school and so on and so forth, in those days, you solve your bullying problems with either you got in a fight, you walked the other way, or you made a friend out of them. And those are the three ways. And generally, it would resolve itself. But today, as you say, you can't get away from it.
Right.
And consequently, there's not an easy way for a parent to tell a kid, hey, do this and do that, and you'll avoid the problem, or for the school to do that. It just is something very, very difficult to deal with all the social media. And, bullying is a big issue that everybody's dealing with now, and I think it's been exacerbated by all the social media and the devices that are out there to kids at a very young age.
I'm sure that the classroom has changed drastically from when you were first a teacher and what our teachers are dealing with today. What's the biggest change that you've seen in the classroom? Maybe beyond computers. That's obviously huge.
Well, yes. When I started teaching, we just had a textbook, and we were told by our principals to teach the textbook. And today they are really organized and well thought out and developed curriculums so that in a big district like ours, you can have some consistency from one school to another. And I would have to say that is a huge change, that the quality and the expertise put into curriculums, it's so much more involved than it used to be. And our teachers will sit down with when a curricular area is up for review, our teachers will sit down and they'll work with other teachers and they'll review textbooks, and there's a lot of thought that goes into it. And I think that's a huge difference now, that the curriculums are more advanced and they're more well thought out than what they were many, many years ago.
We're talking with Dr. Bernie DuBray, the retiring superintendent of Fort Zumwalt School District. And teachers are really becoming harder to recruit these days, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They really are. They're harder to recruit because there's not as many of them. If you check any of the statistics from DESE, you're going to find out that there's fewer kids or fewer graduates that are going into teaching than ever before. So consequently, the competition for the kids the students that do graduate is pretty big, and so people are coming up with all kinds of incentives to try to attract people to their school districts. DESE's recently distributed some funds to help us try to better recruit, and that may mean that you might pay a staff member a little more than what their experience would normally demand. There's all kinds of incentives that people are trying to come up with to get people to look at their district and come over there and fill their roles. So it is a very difficult, slippery slope that we're navigating right now, with fewer teachers for the positions are available, and I think that recruitment is going to be a biggie. As far as over the years, as far as retention, that's a different matter. We've got a fantastic retirement system. You can retire in the state of Missouri with full retirement with 30 years into the system. So a young person starting out teaching at 21 years of age, they're able to get out just a little after 50.
Wow.
And with a full retirement. So that looks pretty attractive when you are faced with crazy times like the pandemic of the last 2 years and things like that. So I think that adds to the problem that you have a good retirement system and teachers can step out early in their career, and that makes it even harder to recruit when you've got a dwindling pool.
Well, we've got elections coming up tomorrow that we were talking about when you were first coming on. You have seen lots and lots and lots of school board members over the years. You've seen the ones who do a really good job. You've seen the ones that probably weren't at the top of the class. When you're looking at school boards and people who run for school board, in your opinion, what makes a good school board member? What's the things that make someone really stand out on a school board? For the positive, I'm saying.
Yeah, the first thing that I would say is a school board member stands out when they listen and when they do their homework. Big districts or even small districts for that matter, you have school board meetings at least once a month. A lot goes into those school board meetings in terms of background, that hiring, paying bills, curriculum decisions. A lot goes into that. And a good school board member is going to be able to do their homework and look at the agenda packet that comes home. And when they come to the school board, have all their meeting, have all of their questions and their ducks in a row so that they are not just voting without really having a good idea of why they're voting the way they are. So I think that a person that listens, a person that'll do their homework, a person that understands that a school board is there to oversee the management of the school district. Their first job is to hire a superintendent and then allow that superintendent to manage the day-to-day operations for them and make sure that you keep the school board aware of what's going on. The times I've seen superintendents get in trouble is they've ignored or they've taken their school board for granted and they haven't kept them up to date on what's going on in the district. They forgot who makes the final decision, who pays the bills, who hires, who fires. And I've never done that. I've always been able to establish a relationship with a school board. Sometimes it starts out rocky, but I'm usually able to turn it around just by the fact that people know that I'm very ethical, I'm very sincere. I realize I work for the school board. And I try to keep them informed on everything.
Well, you've obviously had a very storied career. I mean, you've done a great job. I didn't realize you were Pattonville. way back when. My wife's family was Pattonville. So you've educated my family from the very beginning and until now.
Wow.
So there you go. You're tied in all the way around. Hey, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you the question. After all this time, and you're going to retire from this, you're obviously a guy who still has a lot to offer the community. What are you going to do after you step away from Fort Zumwalt?
I'll tell you, Mike, the same thing I've told other people that have asked me that. I've done this for 38 years in a row, my most recent job, 38 years in a row since 1985 till June 30th of this year. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I really don't. I'm so locked in on doing the job that I have done for all these years that I think I'll have a better idea of it when I get a little closer to the retirement. But at this point, I'm just I don't know. I just keep my options open. But the most important point of what you had said is that I love every school district I've worked for, Pattonville, Orchard Farm, and now Fort Zumwalt for the last actually 41 years because I came here as an assistant superintendent. And boy, have I been blessed the last time because the city of O'Fallon and the city of St. Peters and St. Charles County, they have supported our schools so well. And the community has supported actually $500 million, a billion with a B, $500 million in bond issues to build all the buildings that we've needed to deal with the growth we've had.
Wow.
I started out with one high school. We're now at 5. We had a junior high and a middle school, and now we have 4 middle schools. Started out with 7 elementaries, and now we have 16 elementaries and an adaptive ed center and an early childhood center. So that cannot happen unless you have support from your community. And it should not be holding holding people at hostage to pass a tax levy because things are so bad in your school district. So we've tried to only go to the public when we've absolutely had to, and I try to, be involved in the chambers and every community organization, our cities, I can be, to show them that, we're not always with our hand out. We're there to help our communities just like they've helped us all these years. So that's pretty much my story.
Well, you've done a fantastic job. You've had a great career. It's been an honor to have you running the school district that my kids have grown up in. And I appreciate the fact that you always are in the community. I see you at chamber meetings all the time, and you've been involved all the way around. I would say you deserve to do whatever the heck you want to do for retirement. And I hope in the beginning you get a chance to just go somewhere and just unplug and unwind. I don't know if that's in a beach in Florida or around a pond fishing or whatever you want, but you definitely have deserved it. And you've set the bar for a lot of superintendents for the area. And I know you've been a great proving ground for the folks in Winsville who are going through what you have gone through right now. And I talked to the superintendent out there last week. I think she is losing her mind, and she's figured out that she actually took a construction job and not necessarily just an education job because they're already outgrowing schools out there. So Dr. DuBray, I appreciate you, and I really appreciate you spending some time with us today, and hope you enjoy your retirement.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you asking me to be here. Thank you.
By all means. That is Dr. Bernie DuBray. He is retiring from the Fort Zumwalt School District. I didn't realize his career went back even that far.
That's crazy.
That means he's been in education longer than I was in school. So he said 69, right? So I was born 66. So I was 3 when he started his career. Great guy, fantastic example of a superintendent. So thanks for listening today. Hope you're enjoying Mike Elam sitting in today on the Annie-Frey Show. We will let you go for this. We'll be right back on the other side, but don't forget to take our YouTube live chat poll. Will you vote in the local elections tomorrow? And if you have voted already, go ahead and click yes. But will you vote in the local elections tomorrow? They're really important. We'll talk a little bit more about that on the other side. It's the Annie-Frey Show. Mike Elam sitting in today on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Annie-Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group is a family business, and they want to help you and your family. When they meet their clients for the first time, they're going to set up a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. They build your own personalized structured income plan to generate a great amount of income for you for the rest of your life. They put you in control of your money. That means you don't have to have the worry, the anxiety that comes along with not really understanding how you're going to shift from saving to paying yourself with that retirement that you've been working so hard to accumulate. Let their team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. When you reach out to them by calling 314-993-9494, you're not going to cause yourself to have to pay anything. There's no obligation. You just sit down and have a conversation. They ask you about where you are, what you want to achieve, and then they tell you how they can help you. If you feel like it's a good plan for you, join the rest of the Annie-Frey Show listeners and 97.1 listeners and become a client. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
If you like to work with a local company that gives back to the community, Window World is the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Mark Cox here from my friends out at Window World. What a great product. A lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You've heard me say that before. And they've been around for over 20 years. They have improved the look and the efficiency of over 70,000 homes in the greater St. Louis area. They have the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. That's hard to get, right? And that's important. They're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Call them for a free estimate. Let them show you why they say simply the best for less. New doors, new windows. With Window World, they're now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Or you can go online anytime to windowworld.com.
If you own a small business, you know the value of time. GetRefunds.com does too. That's why they've made it easy, no matter how busy you are, to apply for the Employee Retention Credit, or ERC. Go to GetRefunds.com to get started, and in less than 8 minutes, see if your business qualifies for ERC assistance. Your business may be eligible for a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee kept on payroll during COVID-19. GetRefunds.com has already helped clients claim over $3 billion in payroll tax refunds through the ERC. And they may be able to help your business too. There's no upfront charge either. They don't get paid until your business gets its refund. Many businesses believe they won't qualify based off incomplete or outdated information, so don't let this opportunity pass you by, because this payroll tax refund is only available for a limited time. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
On April 4th, St. Louis County voters will see Prop M on their ballots. But what does Prop M mean for county residents? Prop M states, shall St. Louis County impose an additional sales tax of 3% on retail sales of adult-use marijuana sold in the county? The estimated yearly $3.5 million collected from this tax can be allocated to fund police, parks, and roads. Learn more about Prop M at stlouiscountymo.gov/Prop M.
Paid for by St. Louis County, Missouri. Sam Page, County Executive, 41 South Central, Clayton, Missouri, 63105.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
You're listening to the Annie-Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Free speech has a home. 97.1 FM Talk.
Your home for conservative talk.
One of the only places where conservative ideas aren't shut out of the conversation. This is the Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
We are all in the same boat. You gotta love, what is Zach
Brown Band.
Zach Brown Band. I just had a brain
You were
fart for a
close.
second there.
Do I
That was
have
Zach
to love
Brown
him?
Band.
You don't have to love him.
Okay.
You really
They're
don't.
pretty good. Brad,
But-
I think you'd like them.
Well, I have to listen to them more to make an opinion, but
Yes. So, by the way, if you have the opinion, people are voting. So thank you for actually voting in the YouTube live chat poll. Will you vote in the local election tomorrow? So you brought up the thing of Prop M. Is on the ballot tomorrow.
Yeah, I fought with Mark Cox about it.
You fought with him about it?
Yeah, last Friday. It's one. He and I, it's fun because we debate. Now we share an office. I don't know if you knew this.
Oh, I did see that. Your offices have moved all over the place. I'm guessing because Hannah was made full-time, they had to make room for her. So they moved everybody all around. I went down to say hi to Steve Moore, and his office wasn't there.
Again,
So
that's more because of Hannah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
They have to make room.
Hannah was the I was going to say pebble, but it's more than a pebble. It's like a huge
boulder.
millstone that you drop into a pond.
millstone.
And the ripples.
All the ripples
I
have
could see
affected
that.
the rest of Odyssey.
I could see that. I mean, I was impressed by the guns today that I started seeing because obviously she's hitting the weights.
Should we say? Should we show that you were doing your muscles, not actual guns?
I was doing my muscles.
Okay.
This was not a Second Amendment thing. Although when you have guns like she has, you do have to get them registered.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I always tell her you got to conceal carry those things.
she has the right to bear arms.
Oh yeah.
Hey, ba-dum-bum. And that's the kind of humor that you get here on the Annie Frey Show. Hey, so we can talk about this more after the top of the hour, but so what side of M are you on and which side is Mark on?
So he argued just in principle against more taxes, which I actually very much understand as a principled conservative.
I understand that.
In this case, I am for Prop M. I don't live in St. Louis County, so I can't vote on it. And it doesn't really affect me. But
sure you can. You're from Illinois. You can figure out how to vote early.
Drive
and often.
over there and say, hey, I'm Joe Smith Wiggins.
In St. Louis County, you can vote at any polling location.
Yep, it's great.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that info.
I'm sure there's election integrity is huge in St. Louis
I
County.
like to switch it up.
So the reason that I am for it is because I am actually okay with indulgence taxes. I would say if you can tax things that people don't have to have that are just luxuries.
Yes.
Not that I would really be for taxes in general, but if you can just tax those things, as long as they're paired with removing taxes on other things, I'm all for it. And this would be kind of in that lane.
I want to continue this discussion on the other side because we've only got like 30 seconds here. But, so marijuana taxes all over the place, municipalities, counties, all that stuff. Municipal election is happening, voting for your alderman or councilman. You also have school boards. We'll talk about all of that and a lot more on the other side of the break. I'm Mike Elam, sitting in today for Annie Frey on the award-winning Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Shopping for flooring is made easy when you shop at a St. Louis family-owned and operated business like Michael's Flooring Outlet. Go online right now to igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com, and you can shop through the different products that they carry, the different finishes that they have, the different kinds of carpeting that they have. You can learn about the different opportunities in carpet that may make it a little more livable than you think. Some people are turned off by it, but if you like carpet like I do, they have the Mohawk Smart Strand. It is there to help you live your life on it and not have to worry about spills and allergies and pets and all of that stuff. Michael's Flooring Outlet will have a staff member who is experienced in selling flooring. They understand the ins and outs of the technology that's involved in flooring, and technology might be very advanced compared to the last time that you've gone through the flooring purchase. If you're shopping for your home, if you're shopping for your business, go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. Also, if you're looking to do a project at like a local church, Michael's Flooring Outlet will walk you through the whole thing. You can shop online or visit one of their stores. Find them at igotfloored.com.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
No matter where you live, what you make, or who you voted for, there's some things that will impact all of us soon. Whether you're concerned about extreme weather, the alarming increase in man-made disasters, or worsening food shortages, Americans are preparing in numbers not seen since World War II. What's changed is how we prepare. And the folks at My Patriot Supply have made it easier than ever for you to have peace of mind, knowing you're ready for what's next. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and stock up on their popular 3-month emergency food kit. They include tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners with over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one kit per person. For a limited time, save $200 plus get free shipping on your 3-month supply at MyPatriotSupply.com. Too many Americans are being let down by institutions we used to trust. It's time to rely on ourselves. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com now. MyPatriotSupply.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The former president to his former home. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Former President Donald Trump heading from Florida to New York City this afternoon ahead of tomorrow's arraignment on an indictment that he's condemned as political and that remains sealed for now. He'll spend tonight at Trump Tower and be due in court in Lower Manhattan tomorrow afternoon.
We expect him to get his fingerprint, perhaps even get his mugshot taken. At that point, we don't expect him to be handcuffed, but we do expect him to make his way down a hallway into a courtroom on the 15th floor.
Fox's Brian Yennis says at the arraignment, Trump is expected to plead not guilty and be released on his own recognizance. He is planning to return to Florida and make a statement tomorrow night. Investigators in Nashville say it continues to appear that school shooter Audrey Hale acted alone as they continue to review the writings she left behind. Hale shot and killed 6 people at a Christian school, including 3 children, before being killed by police. President Biden making the second stop on his Investing in America tour, highlighting private sector investments in clean energy today as he visits a power generation plant near Minneapolis. First Lady Jill Biden also on the road in Colorado, saying her husband's policies have helped boost community colleges, giving millions of people a less expensive path to success.
They often don't need that 4-year diploma to get, to follow their passion either. And as technology changes so many industries, these kinds of learning paths are more important than ever.
However, analysis from the Associated Press and others shows community colleges facing significant challenges, including a 37% drop in enrollment since 2010 and nearly half of students dropping out of the community college where they started within a year. America is listening to Fox News.
Spring is here, and it's time to add some life to your wardrobe with Untuck It. Untuck It shirts are designed to be worn untucked, so you look your best even at your most casual. From iconic button-downs starting at just $55 to wrinkle-resistant linen shirts, printed polos, and brush cotton tees, there's something for everyone. But Untuck It isn't just about shirts. They also offer a wide range of pants and shorts to complete your look. Visit untuckit.com or stop by one of 80-plus stores to find the perfect fit for your spring wardrobe.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus next-day energy with melatonin plus extended-release B vitamins.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Springtime in the air on this Monday afternoon. Partly sunny, windy, and warm. 72 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy, windy, and mild. 59 degrees. Tuesday, partly sunny, very warm, very windy. Maybe a pop storm, but a lot of dry time. 84 on Tuesday. An increase in rain and thunderstorms Tuesday night. Some could be strong. Wednesday, a couple of pop storms, partly sunny, and 68. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Spring is a great time to get a hold of my friends at the Chesterfield Fence and Deck Company. Mark Cox here. For the month of April, you can get 48 months, zero financing at Chesterfield Fence and Deck on your next big project. Call them now, 636-532-4054. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. What are you in need of? You need a new fence? They've got beautiful cedar fences. They've got vinyl, low maintenance, lifetime fences. They've got aluminum as well. Their decks, they offer cedar and the Vecca Deck vinyl decking, which is maintenance free. You can't beat that. They take a lot of pride in their work at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Their pergolas, their sunrooms, whichever you pick, you can see it in person in their showroom in the Chesterfield Valley, just across from the outlet mall there off 109. Stop by and see them. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck today, 636-532-4054, or online at chesterfieldfence.com. If you want to lose weight, I've got a great idea for you. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory Men's Health. They're now offering FDA-approved semaglutide. They have tremendous results with this medication. The average patient loses 15% of their body weight. Men and women can get semaglutide from Victory Men's Health at any of their 3 locations. Be sure and book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
Speaking of booking an appointment, I'm booking mine this week for Fountains Family Dental. I'm going ahead and putting it at the end of the summer because I know I can get the exact time that I need, and that's what you do. You put it on the schedule, and then you don't have to think about it. They text you about 2 weeks ahead, and they text you the day before, and that's it. They don't bother you, but they're going to remind you that you have that appointment, because I'm terrible about putting that stuff in my calendar. Maybe you're better than I am, but Fountains Family Dentistry makes it easy, not only to get that appointment, but to keep it. Now, you call them, you go to fountainsfamilydentistry.com, and you can make an appointment right there online, or you can call them if you find that easier. But they stay late days. I think Thursdays and Tuesdays, they're there until 7 o'clock just for your convenience. And then other days, they're there early for your convenience because they know everybody's work schedule is different. And part of the hardest part, in fact, of getting that appointment done is just getting it on the schedule. So give them a call. Go to fountainsfamilydentistry.com and enter your information there. They make it real easy. You can do it all online, or you can give them a call, which I prefer to do because I just like talking to the staff and saying hello. Go to fountainsfamilydentistry.com. They're in Fairview Heights, Illinois, fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
Mining for truth in a landscape of BS. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie-Frey Show.
Oh, Lord. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for listening to the Annie Frey Show. My name is Mike Elam, sitting in today. You know, I swear if you could just leave the mics on all the time and you get the opportunity to hear the conversation that happens in the background.
You would never believe what just happened 10 seconds ago.
I know. And Brad's like, get it together, Mike. You got to talk. I'm like, okay. So there's just so much. I don't even know where to start with that.
It's like a game for him, though.
I'm just trying to
He's like, can I crack him before he goes on air? He does it to Annie, too.
Oh, but it's fun, right? I mean,
for me,
it's fun for me. Yeah.
Well, so I was telling Hannah, you guys weren't here before we were talking to Dr. DuBray, but it's just like, I love when I get to fill in and do this show, right? Because you guys make it so much fun. There's always something going on, both on the air and off the air, as we just proved. But it's great to have this discussion because you're all really well informed and you bring a lot to the table, and it just makes it so easy for somebody like me to roll in here and start doing the show. So I appreciate the fact that I got to sit in today, and I can't believe that we've got less than an hour left in this show, which means you have less than an hour. Actually, you probably got about 30 minutes to vote on the YouTube live chat poll that's going on right now. And will you vote in your local elections tomorrow, or have you voted already, would be the question to those of you who did vote already, because today ends, by the way, no excuse absentee voting. Missouri changed that. For you Illinois folks, you probably already had this. I don't know.
I don't. About these elections, I always vote election day, so I don't know. But you can pretty much do anything you want.
Yeah, Illinois is very lax. They're like, you got a pulse? No?
Okay.
Right
here you go.
No, here's a ballot.
With your gray
Fill
toe.
it out. Yeah, this will work out just fine and dandy. But Missouri just started. This was the first year that for the last 2 weeks you've had no excuse absentee voting. You just walk into the election authority. They'll give you the ballot. And you obviously you have to prove who you are. ID. It is Missouri, not Illinois. So you give them your ID. They'll give you your ballot for your particular area. You can still do that today, I believe, up until 5 o'clock. But I don't know that for sure. I should have asked Kurt Barr when that ends today in St. Charles County. But I voted last week and went in and voted. So the Prop M stuff was on my ballot because Darden Prairie, where I live, is not adding the 3%. At least that wasn't on my ballot, but St. Charles County is. So what you're going to find, along with the myriad of other things that you're going to be voting for, of course, municipal elections and school board that we've talked about a lot, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later. But this Prop M thing that came up, so if it gets passed, it will not go into effect until October is when it actually goes into effect. So municipalities will not start seeing this money until after the first of the year, because once they start collecting it, then it takes a while for it to be collected and then dispersed. So you won't even, if you approve it, your municipality won't start getting that until later. Now, I believe the state of Missouri gets 6% that they're going to put, or they have already put, on the marijuana tax. And then your municipality, both city and county, can add up to 3%. Your sales tax of the 1.78, I believe, is already going to be there. So this is over and above that. The good news is if you don't smoke weed, this does not affect your life at all in a negative way.
Exactly.
And there runs in Ryan Wiggins going, and that's what I told
And that's
Mark
why
Cox.
I'm like, you know what? I don't care. All of the policy, I could talk this to death if you want, but I don't smoke weed and I don't care. Stick it to the stoners. That's what I say.
Stick it to the
and you know
stoners.
What? Come at me. If you're listening and you're like, oh, you need to be smart about it, come at me. I don't care. Just come at me, and I'll argue that you should be able to pass a tax that's more than 3%. Pass it at 100%. I don't care. Just go and tax the stoners. Anyway, but the actual
Stick it to this. That should be the ad that they run. Ryan Wiggins says, "Stick it to the stoners."
You can put my face on it.
They're stoned. They won't feel it. It'll be fine. Stick it to the stoners.
Yeah. You know what you do is you lower the tax on weed and raise it on animal crackers. And then you'll really make a lot of money.
No,
so these people get the
then-
munchies.
That's right. Don't raise the tax on
Animal
pizza.
crackers and Funyuns.
Yes.
Exactly. Don't raise
Now-
the tax on White Castle, because White Castle sales are getting ready to skyrocket.
Exactly.
This is how it's going to
Now
happen.
that's the argument
And
that I
pork
would make
rinds.
from my heart.
from your heart.
From my head, I would go and say, you know what we should have never done is pass the legalization of marijuana, not because of anything other than it creates an industry. If you really, really wanted to be for marijuana, you just pass decriminalization. You don't legalize it. Because what it does is then it creates an entire, very big lobbyist industry that is now embedded in your entire state. These people are going to make money, and if you don't think it's going to cause other drugs to happen, look out the billboards about, are you interested in shrooms? Those things are everywhere now.
Yes.
And they have nothing to do with marijuana, but all this stuff has this ripple effect because now you got tons of money legally coming in for this stuff when all you had to do was pass decriminalization, because everybody agrees that throwing somebody in jail for marijuana is stupid. And that's how they passed legalization, was by saying, well, you don't want to throw people in jail for it. You know what? You don't have to. You just make it not criminal and not legalize it.
So Mr. Cox, I take it, is, like you said, he is against Prop M. He thinks it should not be passed, and you should not put the 3% tax because he doesn't agree in taxing people.
Yeah, and that's as far as our conversation. All the stuff I just said about decriminalization, I don't want to put those words in his mouth because we didn't have that discussion. But
I understand Mark won't hold more than a 30-second conversation with you, and I get that. I mean, I understand.
I take all that 30 seconds I can get. And I just maximize. No, he's very generous to me, Mike. But we just argued just about Prop M. So all that other stuff was not part of the conversation.
So when we were looking at it in St. Charles County, not to cut you off, which I feel like I just did.
No, go.
So one of the things that we talked about is no one has any idea what kind of money this is actually going to bring in. It's definitely on the come, right? So you're going to pass it, and you have no idea what this is going to turn out to be. It could be a windfall of millions of dollars. It could be hundreds, right? Because right now, when it's all new, and everybody's all excited because it's something new, so people are running in. People who don't even smoke weed are going in just to see what it's like, and they're like, oh, I've heard of these gummies. I want to try that. And, oh, there's lollipops with THC in it. What's that like? So it's like a kid in a candy store. In some cases, quite literally, a kid in the candy store. So they're going in and they're checking all this out. It's going to flatten out. You're going to have a spike of people going, hey, it's really cool. Like Missouri just got Yuengling, right? Beer. So I'm so excited because now I don't have to go to Tennessee or Arkansas to get Yuengling. And I'm very excited, which is why there's a case of it in my fridge right now. I didn't need to buy a case because it's available anywhere. But it's new, and I went full hog, right? So I'm gonna load up my fridge with it right now. In 6 months, it'll probably be back to a 12-pack, and whenever I finish that, I'll go get another one, and I don't need to clog my fridge with the Yuengling. But that's the way it is with the marijuana thing in Missouri right now. Everybody's going in, and they're doing all this stuff. Our friends in Illinois, who have a higher tax rate, are looking at Missouri, and they're going, weed on sale, yay! And they're driving over, and they're buying all kinds of weed. So you're seeing all the folks on the Metro East side who have been buying it at dispensaries because it's been legal for a while. But I think Illinois, I want to say it has a 36% sales tax on it. I could be wrong, but it's really high. Even if everything gets approved in Missouri, your state is there. Your county can add 3% if the voters approve it. Your municipality can add 3%. So actually, if you put your dispensary in unincorporated county, you don't have to pay the municipality 3% because county's only going to ding you once. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be able to do that. Once that happens, then we're actually going to find out how much did we get. Now, from Mr. Cox's standpoint, he's a big bourbon guy, right? He's all into bourbon. The tax rate on alcohol, distilled spirits, not just beer, but alcohol, is a lot more than what you're going to pay on weed. So how is it fair to the bourbon drinkers to have to pay that high price while the stoners get away with these low taxes? So to Ryan Wiggins' point, stick it to the stoners.
I didn't know that about alcohol.
So there is a whole, and I should have, if I would have been forethinking of this conversation, we actually did the research because when we were looking at it, we said, what's the alcohol tax?
Right.
And what's funny is alcohol is taxed by the gallon. And you're thinking, wait, I buy a 6-pack. That's not a
I only buy moonshine, so there's no tax.
Well,
on that.
that's true. And that's because your uncle makes it, and it's family discount.
It's just rubbing alcohol.
Ryan has a friend who.
Makes the apple pie moonshine. Hey, y'all. Speaking of country songs with Zach Brown,
It's
man.
weird. We don't have accents, but when we talk about moonshine, that's what we do.
It's exactly how it's going, man.
Yep.
When you get some moonshine, you got to talk like this. That's just how it's going to be. Y'all want some apple pie moonshine? We got it sitting over here. It's going to be good.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Anyway, so I have no idea where that came from. Sometimes the Arkansas just comes out. I don't know what happened.
When you talk about moonshine.
Boom. There's a whole other off-air discussion that we will have later. So when you start looking at the alcohol, you started seeing, oh, wow, I didn't realize. So your beer is taxed at one rate, or wine is taxed at another, and hard liquor is taxed at another rate. It's not the same rate for alcohol across the board. Which brings up the question of, well, are we going to tax weed across the board at the same rate? We are in the beginning, but I could see down the road, you go, well, for leaf, it's going to be this. For concentrates, it's going to be this. For gummies and that kind of stuff, it's going to be this. Now, I think right now everybody is waiting to see, what is this going to yield? So it's a jump in while you can. What's funny is no one said, hey, let's legalize marijuana and try to get everybody to smoke weed. But you kind of want as many people to smoke weed as you can if you're going to get the tax revenue off of it, because that's the whole reason that you sold the voters on legalizing it. You didn't sell the voters on, at least from a recreational standpoint. Medical, you did. Medical, you sold the aspects of this has a health benefit for people, especially cancer patients who need other drugs that don't have all the side effects. And smoking weed really helps them. And there is a lot of research to support that. Whether you like it or not is a completely different thing. But medical marijuana was the gateway into recreational marijuana, to Mr. Wiggins' point of, guess what else is coming down the road because you've created this infrastructure. So as soon as you got medical, you knew you're on a 2 to 4 year path of recreational. So now we have recreational that showed up. What are the benefits of recreational as opposed to medical? There's really no additional benefit that you're going to be able to sell the voters on, other than I'm going to raise tax revenue off of it. So that's really it. Now, they did put restrictions, though, in the bill that passed it. So it says you can only tax up to 3%. To Mr. Wiggins' point, let's tax at 50. Let's tax at 100. Stick it to the stoners. I love that. That is a bumper sticker right
Keep it.
there.
You can have it.
Thank you so much. I'm putting that out there. Go ahead.
Well, I'm sitting here and I'm curious, and this I don't want to derail the whole conversation, but we're sitting here and to me, raising the taxes on consumption items is probably the most fair way to tax people. You're taxed on what you consume, not necessarily on your labor or what you already own, but what you consume. So to me, it makes, especially like you were saying, if your whole selling point of legalizing marijuana for recreational use is we can raise taxes on it, then you should allow not just the state, but municipalities and other townships and whatnot to take advantage of that.
And that's what this issue is.
So, and I know that there are people out there that are both ways, but to me, I kind of siding with Ryan on this one. You know, you want to partake of the devil's lettuce? Go for it.
The devil's lettuce.
It's just going to cost you a little bit.
And so Steve Elam, and I know we need to take a break here. Steve Elam talks about the fact he will not call the tax that went on for gas, he will not call it a gas tax. He calls it a user fee for exactly what you said. The only people who pay the gas tax are the people who drive.
But I don't like that comparison, though, because everybody has to drive.
It's not true.
Well, if you live downtown and you work right next to your place of residence, then no. But for the most part, that is a very common thing.
You don't pay a gas tax if you take municipal transportation. You don't pay a gas tax. You don't pay a user fee. The people who pay it are the people who use the roads. If you use the roads, you have to pay a fee to use those roads because you're the one who is causing the roads to break down. If nobody drove on the roads wouldn't have near the damage that we get right now. But because you use the roads, you need to pay a user fee because we've got to keep those roads up. If we don't keep those roads up, they break down, and everybody complains about potholes. I want my streets to be better. I want my roads to be better, but I don't want to pay any taxes. Okay. How do you propose that we keep the roads in good condition if you don't want to pay any fees for using the roads?
I'm not saying that it's not a user fee. I'm just saying what percentage of Americans have cars? It's really high.
It is.
That is
especially
a lifestyle.
in the Midwest.
That is the lifestyle, the predominant lifestyle of America. So yes, you're using it, but it's like saying you're using food. Yeah,
and
I'm using food because I eat
when
food.
you eat. Exactly.
Because that's the way you live.
But that's a user fee. If you don't eat, you don't pay any food tax at all.
That's my point.
You don't pay any food tax.
You got to go buy groceries. You know what? You don't actually have to go buy groceries. You could grow your own carrots out back and just eat carrots your whole life. It's that's a huge lifestyle change.
But I think that's what Hannah was eating when I walked in today, was some carrots that she grew out back.
Can you confirm that you grew those carrots?
No, they were sweet potatoes.
Oh, so you paid a tax on them because it's a user fee because you eat food.
We're going to continue this discussion on the other side of this break. You're listening to the Annie-Frey Show. Where else do you get this witty repartee except on 97.1 FM Talk? My name's Mike Elam. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Lord, just in case you didn't know, this is what award-winning radio sounds like. I didn't want you to miss out on that, but this is where we are, and this is why Annie is not allowed to take vacation. It is 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to The Annie-Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey, Wisconsin.
Sherlock Holmes, we have a new mystery.
My dear Watson, what conundrum requires our sleuthing?
It's these high gas prices, Sherlock. How do I stop paying too much at the pump?
Elementary, Watson. Simply use the cashback app, Upside.
The Upside app has eluded my attention.
Oh, come now, Watson. Upside is the revolutionary app that's free to download, and you get real cashback for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
So you can really make cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway.
Precisely, my dear Watson. I have the app open now. Look, there's a gas station not far from here offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Sherlock, you've done it again. I will now use the Upside app and earn cash back on every gallon of gas I buy.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HOMES to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HOMES for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HOMES for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Odyssey's I'm Listening is our commitment to more mental health conversations. Dr. Ursula Whiteside talks about the toll relationships take on our mental health.
You actually have control over that. There's going to be some amount that no matter what, you're going to be in pain and have to go through. But if you let your brain spend all the time thinking about how great they were and how perfect, and all that prevents you from moving through this and having a new life.
Talk saves lives. For more mental health conversations, visit imlistening.org.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store. Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you hate standing on concrete floors because of foot, knee, or low back pain?
I couldn't stand on hard surfaces. The pain would get so severe that I couldn't stand it.
Tired of living in pain?
I wanted to take off my shoes as soon as I got home every day.
You need comfort in your life.
Now I have no foot pain and I can wear any dress shoe that I want.
Good Feet fits in all your shoes. Ladies, you can now be comfortable in your favorite high heels. Good Feet. No shots, no surgery, no medication.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations. On Olive, west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
If you own a small business, you know the value of time. GetRefunds.com does too. That's why they've made it easy, no matter how busy you are, to apply for the Employee Retention Credit, or ERC. Go to GetRefunds.com to get started, and in less than 8 minutes, see if your business qualifies for ERC assistance. Your business may be eligible for a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee kept on payroll during COVID-19. GetRefunds.com has already helped clients claim over $3 billion in payroll tax refunds through the ERC. And they may be able to help your business too. There's no upfront charge either. They don't get paid until your business gets its refund. Many businesses believe they won't qualify based off incomplete or outdated information, so don't let this opportunity pass you by, because this payroll tax refund is only available for a limited time. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
Keeping you connected and aware. In the world, the country, and the community. And offering more ways than ever to listen conveniently. Tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk or download the Odyssey app. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You know that Hannah, she is on her game because the big O jet airliner that says Trump.
Perfect.
She knows.
Totally on purpose.
Exactly.
She's so deep, she doesn't even know she knows it.
She didn't even realize that she was on her game so much.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that. That big O jet airliner has all landed.
There it is. It's quite a scene to watch because you're watching the Trump airplane land and he's going to be arrested and arraigned.
Eric Trump posted on Instagram earlier. He said, in the plane, watching the planes. They were watching Fox News.
Watching
footage
themselves?
of the plane while they were in the plane.
That is so weird. Hey, I'm on my plane and they're watching me and I'm watching me watching me. Wait, what? This is
it
so
might be one of
weird.
those endless screen things that if you turn,
exactly. You
see
it's
yourself
like looking in the mirror
times.
and there they go. Just,
Yeah.
Look, it's a string. It's a Trump flight of what am I looking for? Air Force. There we go.
You.
What is that? A 747 that he has, or 737 that he has?
I think that's a 737.
737.
It's incredible
can't
that you know that.
Read that.
Could be a 707.
757?
I call it a big O jet airliner.
Yeah, that's huge.
Is what it is, with a big O American flag on the back and Trump right across the top. So that is landed in New York. So I guess he will make his way over to Trump Tower now, and then supposedly sometime tomorrow. Brian, did you say you had a timeline?
Yeah, so what's behind us is the grand jury has decided that there's a case, and then the indictment. So that's kind of where we're sitting.
But the indictment is still sealed at this point, and we don't know what all the charges are.
We don't know. Suspect is officially charged with a crime. That's what's happened. Then there's next is the arrest, which I just said to you off air. I can't believe more people aren't saying Trump will be arrested.
Yes.
Because that's what they want. That's all they want is just to hear that.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason it's happening.
Exactly.
Is because so people can just be like, well, he was arrested. What for? Well, I don't want to get into the details because it got kind of messy from there.
I was good at arrest. I didn't need to go any further, so I stopped paying attention.
I mean, it really is just to slap that on him, just like impeached.
Exactly.
That's it.
He's the only president to be impeached twice.
They didn't even know he was. They really wanted to just get that first one in 2019, and then COVID derailed even that being nobody even cared.
Watch out for the headline of the day.
Yeah, so he will be arrested next. Then he will be. That's where a judge issues a warrant, and the suspect is taken into custody. Where typically that's where you get a mugshot. I keep seeing that. There probably will be a mugshot.
There will definitely. Yes.
I mean, tell me about it. That's going to be one of the most famous images of our time. That's going to happen within the next 24 hours.
That's going to be in the history books.
It will.
It will.
If we still have history books in the future.
They'll be online.
And they'll be determined by AI to be fake.
Exactly. That's not really Trump.
Yeah.
It's a made-up AI version.
You guys joke about that.
That's so scary.
But I'm just curious, because we're not sure that if the mugshot gets out, it would be leaked.
Right.
They're not just going to release it.
Oh, it's
I didn't know that. I thought it was public domain.
Here's the thing.
It's going to be on shirts everywhere.
It will.
Well, even if it doesn't get out, how many AI-generated versions of that?
I've already seen them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's already ones out. People know they're fake, but they're already out there. So after arrest, and I think these two things happen pretty much simultaneously, then the arraignment, where the defendant appears in court to hear the charges and enter a plea.
Right.
And I'm sure they already know all of how this is going to take place.
And then they'll do bail and all that stuff. But from what I understand, that has all already been negotiated.
That's what I understand, too.
Yeah. So that's all worked out, and it's a formality of walking through the process. But he's still going to get fingerprinted, and he's going to get the full New York arrest. They're going to take him through all of it.
And I think he already knew that this was a foregone conclusion back 2 weeks ago, which is why over the weekend, almost exactly 2 weeks ago, I think it was Sunday, that he released that all caps tweet that said, they're going to arrest me, they're going to do this, and everybody went, oh, really?
Right.
Nobody knew it was actually happening. Well, at that point, the grand jury hadn't even decided. So that they still had to convene that grand jury, but he knew this is already decided,
right?
Which is why he said it, and
he
was
predetermined,
right. And he was right. After this, so then after this week, I don't know how fast these things will play out, but then it'll be the pre-trial hearings, which is where the defendant is either jailed or released on their own reconnaissance. That doesn't look like reconnaissance to me.
We're going to go with it.
Recognizance.
That's it. Thank you.
Bingo.
While hearings take place, then there's either a trial or the case is dismissed.
Okay.
And I don't think, like you said, I don't think you're going to see Trump in jail.
No.
Here, even at the pretrial hearings, because that's where they hold somebody because they're a flight risk,
right,
or something like that's not going to happen.
Well, he's a legit flight.
I mean,
risk.
he's flying in.
He just flew in.
Yeah, so he's clearly not just going to run away.
My arm's tired.
I mean, he might have to surrender his passport and stuff like that. But
I doubt it.
I don't see why they would consider him a flight risk.
It's not like he's going to be hard to find.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. He's running for re-election. He can't really disappear.
Well, if he did, then he's not running for re-election anymore.
This is true.
Well, you can do it from your basement, as has been proven.
I've heard that. There was a guy I heard a couple of years ago who did the whole thing from his basement.
No, I'm
Once
serious.
was a man.
Not a joke.
From Nantucket.
That's a completely different show. That's got to be a podcast.
This is so. Then there will be, assuming that the case is not dismissed, which it could be.
Okay,
we don't know, but there will be a trial, and then so whether we're privy to that trial, I don't know. Maybe you've seen it, and I haven't
heard anything.
I haven't either. Then that's when we find out whether he's guilty or not guilty of these charges. And then there's a sentencing if he is guilty. He seems to be implying that this whole thing is already so pre-planned. It's in Manhattan.
Right.
I said this before, that Alan Dershowitz, the Dersh, has said that this whole thing is so obviously going to happen all the way to guilty and sentencing that they wouldn't be doing it if it weren't. Because they're in Manhattan. He said, I'm a Democrat, and remember when I went to before the Senate and defended Trump? I lost all of my friends.
Wow.
He said, these people who are picked for this trial, they're not picked because they're going to be fair.
Right.
They're there in Manhattan because they probably voted for Alvin Bragg. I mean, that's the same electorate.
He did get elected.
Well,
so
yeah.
I mean, jury selection doesn't happen until just before the trial.
Right. But what he was saying, Alan Dershowitz was saying, is that all of this is going to play out in a way that's the least favorable for Trump possible on purpose.
But he was also calling for moving the venue.
He also was calling to move it in some upstate New York or out of Manhattan, because
which would be good.
It's almost impossible to find.
Staten Island was one of the places he mentioned.
You'd have to think this is possibly the most famous man in the world.
Yes.
To find an unbiased jury who's like, you know what, I don't really know much about this guy. I'm going to come in cold here. It would be nearly impossible.
Exactly. I mean, especially with the Trump brand in New York.
Yes.
Even before he was president, everybody knew, and with all the clueless people that are in New York, and I'm basing that based on all the men on the street stuff that you see happening in New York.
That's a great way to
where they do,
judge.
Hey, let's Let me ask you this question. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. What country is to the north of the U.S.?
Yeah. Iran? Yeah. I don't know. Wow. Thanks. That's the country you're from. But thank you for actually playing along. So everybody's coming off the plane right now. They've got the big SUVs at the bottom of the stairs.
They got an ambulance back there.
Do they
just
really?
Waiting, yeah.
Just in case. So here comes the pilot.
This isn't Biden. He's not going to fall down the stairs. Well, he always falls up the stairs.
Yeah, Biden actually, he's the only person I've ever seen fall upstairs.
Oh, I have.
Never, really?
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen anybody fall upstairs.
I was on a date with a girl, and I missed a step. And then whenever it was at a movie theater, and they had one of those hand railings that was like kind of in the middle of it. So I missed the step, and I was like, I'm going to do the thing. Biden did the same thing where you run like I'm going to get up there, but it was dark, and I didn't see the hand railing, and I ran into that, and then I fell down again.
Oh, man.
And I got up, and she didn't turn around the whole time. So I was behind her, following her up. She didn't notice.
She didn't know?
No.
And that's before marijuana was legal. I'm just saying. So, that's how that worked out.
I know we got big news right now, but I got to give Brad a pass on that. Because the stairs at movie theaters,
I agree.
A, it's dark.
Yes.
B, they're of different lengths.
They are.
And
At times.
it was on one of those platform areas.
Exactly. So you're going to step, you're like, oh, there's no step.
Wait, there's a landing. Where did that come from? I wasn't expecting a landing.
Let's embarrass all these guys trying to impress their girlfriends.
So Trump has not gotten off the plane yet, right? We're watching right now.
No, we had all the original guys who got out. Everybody has a dark suit on.
I know.
I'm going to stereotype and say that was Secret Service.
Does he come out like not like Nixon and do the I am not a crook. I'm not a criminal. But does he come out and make a big deal about this? I think he should.
He will.
I think he should wear a witch's hat.
I'm sorry. Can I just go back and say
wear a scarlet letter?
Did Ryan Wiggins just ask, is Donald Trump going to make a big deal?
Well, does he play it cool? Like, does he walk out and wave at the cameras and get in the car, or does he stop and stop for the cameras, even answer some questions? Does he do all that?
I don't know that there's no press on the tarmac.
They have 8 black SUVs, an ambulance, and 3 cop cars just waiting.
Yeah, so not going to be questions here. My guess is he's going to go straight to Trump Tower. He's probably going to have a press conference at Trump Tower.
That'd be smart.
Because nothing Donald Trump does is quiet. So he's going to have a press conference somewhere. Guarantee you he's going to throw Bragg under the bus. I really wish he would stay away from the judge. Quit saying things about the judge. No reason to alienate the guy who could make your life really, really bad.
The problem is that judge might put a gag order on him and say you can't campaign. Now, legally, that is a huge problem.
It is.
And I mean, you want to talk about stuff that's typically un-American.
Right.
I think that's the problem that he keeps harping on is like, you can't do this. I'm the former president of the United States, possible future president of the United States, and you're going to put a gag order me on these weak charges to begin with. Well, it's all for the purpose of silencing him.
One of the big things that they had here is they want this to continue. They don't want this to be a quick thing. They want this to be drug out as far as it could be, because if it gets drug out into next year, then it will be going on while the campaign is going on. And that's what they want. So
yes.
We'll see how long this whole thing can get drug out. You have random people who are coming out of the plane, starting down the stairs and going back in. So I have no idea what's going on, but we will keep an eye on this. We will come back on the other side. We're going to tell you a little bit. We're not doing the poll results next, are we?
Next, we are.
We are?
We are next.
Okay, so last chance to get your poll votes in. Will you vote in the local elections tomorrow? Or have you voted in the local elections tomorrow? Yes or no? What are you going to do? And then if you can put your comments in there. We'd love to know. What are you thinking? Why aren't you voting? What the heck's wrong with you? Come on. It's the Annie-Frey Show. My name's Mike Elam. Sitting in today, you're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie-Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie-Frey Show.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
This is Mark Ponder. I'm a candidate seeking to be elected to the Francis Howell School District Board of Education. I'd like to make sure our district brings back fiscal responsibility due to the massive $78 million Prop S overrun. I want to communicate with the teachers and give them the support they need and certainly deserve. Ensure we communicate much more with the community that supports us and provide a transparency and education that will bring back the trust our voters surely deserve. On April 4th, I hope you'll consider casting your vote for me. For more information, you can find me on Facebook or visit voteponder.com. Paid for by friends of Mark Ponder, Sherry McNeil, Treasurer.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers with back taxes to the IRS. Billions in tax relief is now being made available to struggling taxpayers, giving thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in savings away to those who qualify. If you're facing wage garnishment, threatening letters, audits, liens, levies, or already in a payment plan, you can now expedite the resolution to your tax problem, end collections, and even qualify to reduce a large portion of what you owe. Stop IRS Debt has established a relief hotline for you to call to check what savings and options you qualify for. Dial 800-338-0419. With many people facing job loss and rising cost of living, these special IRS initiatives are designed to aid delinquent taxpayers with the relief that they need to get a fresh start. For a free consultation to see what savings you qualify for, call 800-338-0419. 800-338-0419. 800-338-0419.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When children were being fatally injured by window blind cords, Honor Law took on the manufacturers to have dangerous cords banned.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Warmer days are coming. Time to schedule your annual AC system check for as little as $15 a month. For any residential or commercial HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
There's a big Supreme Court election in Wisconsin on Tuesday, and there are huge implications for the 24 presidential campaign. We'll talk about it Monday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
It is the Annie Frey Show. My name is Mike Elam. We are about to wrap up the big show today. We watched.
There you go, Ed.
There you
Sullivan.
Go. Hey, no
big show.
Really big show. So Trump has walked off the airplane. He is in the big black SUV. They have not taken off yet, but he is going to do that. Hey, I wanted to touch back to this marijuana thing real quick, because Tim reached out to us and he said, hey, you guys are talking about the marijuana tax. You're not talking about people can grow their own marijuana. So not sure about Illinois, but in Missouri, you can have up to 6 plants for personal use at your house. This is the crazy thing to me, though. Only 2 can be flowering. Really? So how are you going to check that? You're going to bring the cops to my house and go look in my closet? And, hey, you had 3 flowering pot plants, not 2. So I'm going to take the 3rd one? I just don't see that happening.
Well, we have an abundance of police everywhere. So
exactly.
they're probably just sitting on their hands looking for something to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're only down 100 cops in the city of St. Louis, and we're about to lose 100 more from retirement by the end of this year. So, what could possibly go wrong there? But the other thing about it is, the way I understand it, if you have a medical marijuana card, you do not pay the tax. So I'm like, if you're a big pot user, why wouldn't you just go ahead and get a medical marijuana card unless there's some other price that you would pay at your job or something for having a medical marijuana card. If that's the case, then I get it. But otherwise, get the medical marijuana card and you don't care about any of these taxes. You're like, stick it to the stoners without the medical marijuana card.
Well, Prop M aside, I mean, that's one issue that people are going to be deciding tomorrow and have been for the last couple of weeks in Missouri. Illinois is the same, and we got local elections tomorrow too. And I just encourage everybody who know your candidates. It's hard to do in these elections a lot of times because they don't necessarily have an R or D next to their name.
They don't.
Which makes it a little bit harder. That does make it, to me, a little bit more important. It's more important to vote in these in general because your vote carries so much more weight.
Right.
There's so fewer people voting in these elections that when you vote, your vote just matters more by math. It
Typically,
just does.
7 to 10% is what's going to come out of registered voters.
Yeah.
7 to 10% of registered voters are going to come out, and they're going to actually vote in these municipal elections. It's really important that you come out and voice your opinion. Don't take it for granted. I will tell you, though, especially what I've seen in St. Charles County, I don't know so much about St. Louis County because I haven't been watching it so much. But for nonpartisan elections, which this is, I have never seen more partisan thumb on the scale than I have in these elections. I mean, I have seen potential aldermen and councilmen where they won't come out and say if they're Republican or Democrat, but people are going, well, you're a Democrat. Well, you're a Republican. I'm like, wait, it's a nonpartisan election. But you now had like the GOP is endorsing candidates for it. This is something that's new over the last few years.
Well, it's
that
because
didn't happen before.
Because these issues that are culturally divisive have gotten so intense that they're now down to your schools.
Right.
And I mean, and library boards too, because you're talking about school boards and library boards both dealing with essentially pornography in schools. Should you be allowed to have these images and types of books in schools or not? And there are, believe it or not, people arguing that you should be allowed to show these pornographic images in a lot of cases, and sometimes just pornographic text.
Yes.
To children, whether you define a senior in high school as a child or not, they're still a minor. And so that's where these arguments have gotten because the culture has become very, very corrupt. And that's where we're at. It's very, very important to vote in these elections and to know who you're voting for. In Collinsville, by the way, I know I'm broadcasting to a whole lot of people here, but I live in Collinsville. If you don't know who you're voting for, now, Brad, like you talked about where you're at,
I have elections to vote on.
While you can vote, there's not, like you have 3 spaces for 3 candidates. So you know who's going to win.
Three candidates, 3 open spots. They're all going to get elected.
That's school board, right?
Yep.
Okay.
As far as my alderman goes, I have 1 candidate, and he's I believe he's the incumbent, and that's the only open spot.
I like his odds. I think they're good.
Yeah.
Which we like him too. I mean, it's not like I would have voted differently before. Which is really cool because in O'Fallon, a lot of our candidates came around. Like we were talking off the air about Herb Roach, the mayor of O'Fallon.
Great guy, by the way.
Yeah, he came up. He knocked on our door and talked to us personally and asked us for our vote. And that means a lot, you know.
Your mayor's a really good guy. Your city administrator is a really good guy as well. So I like the folks in the city of O'Fallon. I like the folks in the city of Fairview Heights, as a matter of fact.
And really, as far as the school board goes, we have a pretty good school board, and we have good leadership. The superintendent is very good. There's a lot of good in O'Fallon, so I think that's why you don't see the contentiousness in O'Fallon as far as that goes.
Now, in O'Fallon, Missouri, on the other hand.
Well, I don't know anything about that one.
And this is what's crazy is all these elections are so small at times that you got to know a lot of what you're talking about.
Yes.
And everybody that we're talking to is going to be, their ballot's going to be different. There are very few ballots that are going to be the same depending on where you're at.
Well, in St. Charles County, the Fairview Heights, or the Fairview Heights, the Francis Howell School Board election, super competitive. Fort Zumwalt, that way. Wentzville may be the biggest competition of any that I've seen. Wentzville School District is off the charts competitive. How is our poll gone so far? Did we close that out?
So our YouTube live chat poll today is asking, will you vote in your local elections tomorrow? Did we all say whether we will or not?
I have already voted.
I am going to vote.
I'm going to vote tomorrow as well. It'll be my first local election I will be voting in. I've had to do a lot of studying. I am most looking forward to voting for the Rockwood School Board. That election is pretty...
I bet.
It's always pretty rough, but we hope to win back the school board tomorrow, so I will be voting. Ryan, will you?
I will be voting. I'm in Illinois, of course, so is Brad. You guys are in Missouri. Mark Cox has put out a voter guide for people who... Now, you can use it as a guide. That's just what it is. You don't have to take it, but it is there if you want to know more about local candidates because it is hard to find information on them.
It really is.
I have... I've put together one that's rough for Collinsville. Now, I don't know a whole lot outside of Collinsville in Illinois, but I'm taking care of what I'm doing.
That's
so
good.
If you happen to be in Collinsville and you want to know, you can contact me.
Brad was going to put one together, but being that...
that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and there's 3 candidates for 3 openings and 1 candidate for 1 opening. He was like, well, if you don't like them, write in a lot.
Yeah.
It's about all you're going to be able
All
to
right,
do.
let's get to these results. Over 140 people voted on this. Will you vote in your local elections tomorrow? Yes or no? 81% of the people are going to be voting.
Yeah!
19% of the people will not.
19%, you need to get out there.
Maybe we will change your mind. It is super important to vote in your local elections. Your voice will be heard. Please vote in your local elections tomorrow.
I kid you not, some of the candidates that in my city are running on, I won't teach sex to your kids.
Yeah.
That's it. I think it's pretty basic that we should not do that. It's like, okay,
How
thank
sad
you.
is it that that's our bar?
It's amazing.
We have some comments coming in. Jackie S. says, I will be voting and working the election tomorrow.
There, girl, Jackie.
There you go, Jackie.
Jackie, you are the best. Sherry G. from YouTube said, I absolutely will be voting tomorrow. Local elections are even more important than the federal.
There you go, Sherry.
Quick Rick says, always vote. It's all most of us can do. Mike G. says, voting tomorrow. Got to get the good folks in for our school board. Rob P. says, I've been a school board member for 9 years, and now in Illinois, we rarely have enough people to even run for school board. So,
It used to be that way around in Missouri as well. But after COVID, man, everybody came out. And now you may have 2 or 3 openings, but you have 12 people who are running for those now.
It took a bit,
It
because
did.
2020, everybody was expecting, this is going to all change. It didn't. But now, a couple of years later, I guess that it takes a little bit for that wheel to turn.
People have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
like
right.
if I asked you, Ryan, do you know how to run for school board?
It takes time.
Yeah.
You got to get involved, and
you got to figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, just even the nuts and bolts of where to go, where to register, if you need signings,
Exactly.
Petitions and all
What
that.
the GOP started doing in St. Charles was they started running candidate schools, and they would run these in off years. And they would have people come in and say, hey, you can come to this candidate school. We'll teach you everything you need to know about how to register, how to put a campaign together, how to put together a campaign committee so you can file with Missouri Ethics and all of that stuff. So trying to help more people get involved in the process and trying to make sure that you have good, qualified people who understand what they're getting into. I mean, when Dr. DuBray was on with us last hour, he was talking about the fact there's a lot of homework when you're a school board member. Are you willing to do the work?
Yeah.
Or are you just going to show up and say, I'm not going to vote for sex for your kids? Well, I hope you can do both.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah.
But we're about to find out.
971talk.com for the Missouri voter guide. for
there you
hot
go.
dogs.
Hannah, was there something else in comments that you wanted to add?
The answer is no, Mike.
I felt like she was about to say something a while ago, and I cut her off.
Scooter says yes, he voted in the poll. He's most excited to vote for school board members. Lots of people are saying that. Once again, over 80% of the people voted that they will. They're voting that they're going to vote.
They're voting that they're going to. Good.
So that's
hey,
great.
if you voted in the poll, you've proven you can vote.
Some people got on to their to vote that they're not going to vote.
I voted that I'm not
Do
going
we
to
realize
vote.
this?
You understand? That's ironic.
We're living in the metaverse.
Hey, so thank you guys very much for hosting me today. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Annie. Hope you're having a wonderful time with the kids. I will be back here on Friday. Tomorrow is going to be Brad, who will be in with the show. You guys have a wonderful day. Please don't forget to vote tomorrow. It is really, really important. My name is Mike Elam. Thank you so much for keeping it right here. Mark Reardon is in next on 97.1 FM Talk.
I like the chip I got in my front teeth.
When the taxpayers approved Prop S for Francis Howell, they had no idea that there would